A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. For Jerry of the Circus.
Buen muchacho. Ay, el mundo, mi amigo.
Oh, Miss Carmen. Miss Carmen, what on earth are you doing?
Hello there, Major. Do you like my friend? Yes.
Well, I hardly know what to say. How did you get way up on his head? Where's Olson?
He had to work.
You mean to say you play alone with this great big elephant?
Of course. He's so gentle, El Mundo. And I am so glad to see him.
Well, come down. Come down on the ground.
Why, Major?
Oh, something may happen to you. Now, look how that beast throws his trunk about. No, listen to him. He sounds as if he were getting mad.
Oh, no. He's good friend. Un momento, El Mundo. Ah, you see how he put up his trunk so that I may step down? There.
Oh.
And now I go, but I shall come back. Poor thing. He does not understand, but I shall teach him English.
Miss Carmen, would you...
What is it, Major?
Well, I was just wondering if you could... Well, would you take a walk with me?
Well...
we might go out for lunch. Would that be asking too much?
Oh, no, of course not, Major. But you see, well, my brothers, I must rehearse with them. So, if you will excuse me, my good friend, I must leave you. And El Mundo, too. Olsen, he will come back. You stay here till El Mundo is taken care of, yes?
Oh, why, of course, Miss Carmen. Anything for you. Anything.
Oh, gracias, senor. I go.
Goodbye, sweet lady. El Mundo. She leaves us. And you love her so, too. Oh. How tragic to feel so strongly and not to have that love return. But she called us her good friend. We can always remember that, can't we? Oh. Not so loud. She'll think something is wrong. We don't want to worry her. Carmen. What a lovely name.
Hey, hello there, Major.
Oh, so it's Jerry. Well, young man, you quite startled me.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Say, I'm looking for Carmen. You haven't seen her, have you?
She has just left. She's gone to rehearse with her brothers.
Oh, thanks. Then they'll be in the big top.
She said she and her brothers have been having some kind of trouble.
Carmen has been getting threatening notes, not signed. Someone is threatening to kill her.
No. Kill that sweet creature?
Uh-huh. Once they even threatened to put acid on the wire, which would surely kill all three of them. That's why they check it over before each performance.
Oh, how awful. Who could be so cruel?
Well, I don't know, but I think I've got a clue. That's what I want to see her about.
You have a clue? Tell me, young man. Perhaps maybe I could help.
Well, all right, I'll tell you. But promise you won't do anything until we're real sure.
Yes, of course I promise. Out with it, young man.
Well, it's like this. we were out here this morning with Olson and the new elephant when Rags came running up with a piece of paper in his mouth.
Yes, but what has that to do with...
Then, when I took it from him, I saw there had been some candy in it, because there were some crumbs left.
Hey, go on.
Well, Tom and I went back with Rags to see who had given him the candy. And sure enough, we found a piece of candy, and then...
This seems to be quite beside the point.
Well, no, it isn't. Because suddenly we saw that piece of paper was the same kind of paper that the notes to Carmen had been written on.
Was there something strange about it?
Oh, here it is. See how thin it is. It's rice paper.
Who gave Rags the candy?
Well, that's what's worrying me. You see, Rags led us to the bearded lady's wagon.
The bearded lady? Huh. That pest?
She wasn't there, so I don't know if she gave him the candy, but...
She probably did. The amount of candy that woman consumes is a sin.
But, Major, this is what I can't figure out. How could she happen to have the same kind of paper that those notes were written on? Of course, we're not sure she gave Rags the candy.
No, but she's a meddling, lovesick woman. And I wouldn't put it beyond her to do just such a silly thing.
Oh, I hate to say anything to the Bendinis until I'm sure, at least sure she gave Rags the candy. You know how fiery those brothers can get when they're mad.
Well, I've heard they can, despite the fact that they always seem so gay and carefree.
I'd hate to have them go to the bearded lady if she really hasn't had anything to do with all this.
I think you come just to the right person, Jerry. Now, I'll tell you what I'll do.
What?
Well, I'll go to her wagon and look around inside while she's gone and see if she has any more paper like this.
Oh, I thought of that, but I was scared.
Well, I guess I can look through her things. After the way she took my watch and caused me all that trouble.
Yeah, I remember.
And then if I find she's got more paper like this, we'll make her explain about giving Rags the candy. If she confesses about that, we'll next ask her about those threatening notes.
Sounds easy enough.
Oh, handling temperamental women is never easy.
Of course.
Well, after all, I want Miss Carmen to realize that I'm a man she can depend on.
Oh, of course.
Well, after I find out about the notes, I guess she'll appreciate the kind of stuff I'm made of.
I'm sure she will.
Here, give me that paper.
But don't lose it.
No, I won't. And I'll be right back. I hope.
Okay. Well, El Mundo, did you hear all that? Gee, I forgot. You can't understand. I got something you'll understand, though. Here's some peanuts. Oh! That's the ticket. Here, take some. There you are. So you're eating at last, huh? Golly, Olson will sure be glad to hear that.
Hey, what you doing with my new elephant?
Olson! Gee, I didn't notice you. Hey, look, he's eating.
I'll say he is. I kind of thought he would.
You did?
Sure. After seeing Carmen and finding out what's wrong, he'll be all right from now on, but I won't be.
What do you mean? Has something happened?
No, but it's going to. Just look at all the trouble I'm going to have to learn Spanish.
Gee, that's true. You won't be able to work, El Mundo, until you learn the right command.
And I never could learn any language, even English.
Oh, it won't be so bad. Hey, I'll tell you what.
Yeah?
I'll learn the commands, too. So if you get stuck sometime, you can just call on me.
I may take you up on that, Jerry.
Honest?
Sure thing.
Say, I got an idea.
Yeah, what?
Well, look, if I learn some Spanish,
Yeah?
well, couldn't I learn to work El Mundo?
Well, I don't know about that, Jerry.
Oh, who's going to work him in the ring?
I don't know yet. We haven't discussed it with Mr. Randall. Of course, the trainer will handle all the commands, but probably we'll use one of the pretty girls to do the stunts with El Mundo.
Oh, gee. I wish I could. Golly, I'd work like 60.
I bet you'd be good, too, Jerry.
Oh, can I then?
Well, I don't know, Jerry. I don't have the say about such things like that.
If Mr. Randall let me?
He's the boss.
Boy, I'm in for his wagon. See, if he'd only let me. Well, I'd be in the show regular
Don't
then.
count on it too much, Jerry.
Well, I won't, but you can bet I'll try. Bye. I'll be back and let you know what he says.
Good luck.
Well, thanks. Oh, gee, if I only could.
Where do you go so fast, eh?
Oh, hello, Carmen. Say, I just got the swellest idea.
Yes? And what is it?
I'm going to ask Mr. Randall if he'll let me work with El Mundo.
No.
Sure. The kind of things you used to do with him when you were little.
Oh, how nice, Jerry.
Of course, I don't know yet whether he'll let me, but maybe you could show me some of the same tricks you used to do.
I like that very much. Very, very much.
Do you want to be fun?
Just like the old days. Oh, say, Jerry,
Yeah?
here come the major. I don't want him to see me.
So soon?
I go this way. He not notice me. Goodbye.
Okay. Now I wonder how the Major got through so soon. Oh, hi, Major.
Oh, there you are, Jerry. Well, I had a bit of luck.
You have? What happened?
Well, I had scarcely left you when who should I see but our friend, the bearded lady.
No.
Yes, sirree. So I ups and says to her, I says, did you give Reg some candy this morning?
What'd she say?
Well, she kind of hemmed and hawed a bit, but when I showed her the paper it was wrapped up in, she admitted she did. Said she didn't think it would hurt him any.
Say, what about the paper?
Not so fast, young man. Then I began quizzing her about that unusual paper and what it was made of and all that.
Yeah?
And she began bragging about it. She got it when she was abroad someplace, some foreign country. It's very special paper. And this piece got mussed up, so she just put the candy in it.
Sure looks suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
But honest, Major, I can't believe she'd do a thing like that.
Well, why not?
Well, why should she have anything against Carmen?
It's simple enough when you understand the ways of women. You see, I've been showering attentions on that lovely little Spanish lady.
Yes, but...
Jealousy, my boy, jealousy. See, if she thought that she would make me ridiculous, you know, she'd go to any lengths.
Well, what do we do next, Major?
Go to any lengths. Ha! So that's it.
What?
So, she decided to make that bouquet for Carmen.
What bouquet?
That one with all the vegetables in it. The one that Tom presented to her at dinner in the mess tent.
Oh, no, the bearded lady didn't have anything to do with that.
Oh, bah, don't tell me. Huh. Here comes Mr. Randall. I'm too mad to talk to him. I'll go and plot my revenge. But remember, not a word of this to anyone. You understand?
Yeah, but... Well, Major, hey, don't go. I gotta explain.
Oh, hello there, Jerry. You having trouble with the Major?
No, only... Well, he gets so excited, he won't listen. He thinks... Oh, well, never mind.
Well, don't let him get in your hair, son. He means well, but, you know, after all, he's pretty peppery.
Yeah. Say, Mr. Randall.
Yeah?
You know about that new elephant? About Carmen knowing him and all?
Yeah, sure. I know all about that.
Well, you're going to have him work in the ring, aren't you?
Well, yeah, sure.
And, you know, Carmen used to work with him.
Yeah.
Well, what...
Well, come on, out with it, Jerry.
Well, would you let me work with him like Carmen used to? She said she'd show me the old tricks she used to do with him, and Olson would work with me, and I'd work hard, and I just know I'd be good, Mr. Randall, please.
Well, now that that's off your chest, I'll tell you, Jerry, you know, in Randall's brother's circus, as a rule, I think it's better to have a pretty girl work with the elephants.
Aw, gee willikers, Mr. Randall.
But in this case, I've got a good mind to give you a try.
Oh, Mr. Randall. Really and truly? Oh, gosh. Oh, I'll be a real circus performer.
Suspense. This is the Man in Black, here to introduce this half hour of Suspense.
Now, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Mr. Tillett, I'm afraid that I'm taking up too much of your time.
Not at all, Miss Bond. Not at all.
I mean, you've shown me so many beautiful things that I simply can't decide. It's extremely naughty of you to have so many lovely...
My dear lady, such jewels as these were made only to adorn one such as yourself. The afternoon is yours, and with it, my services.
How sweet of you.
Now, this is the tiara.
Oh, it's perfectly... Mr. Tillett.
I want you to notice the rubies here, and the exquisite workmanship of the filigree.
I daren't ask. It's priceless, I know, but...
$50,000.
Oh, no, I've got to be sensible. It's quite out of the question. Now, what about the necklace?
24,000.
The brooch and earrings?
18.
Oh, they're adorable. And the diamond?
14,000 for you, Miss Bond.
I should really close my...
I'm sorry, gentlemen. Oh.
Keep your hands on the velvet, friend, and nobody's going to get hurt. You, lady, just sit there and don't open your mouth or I'll close it for you.
This is...
Hold up. We'll take that, please.
Don't you dare touch me. Oh!
Okay. Thanks for everything. So long.
Here we are, dear. How are you, sweet? Oh, you know David Archer, don't you?
Of course. Do sit down. Have you ordered, Colonel? I'm famished.
I did. We were only waiting for you, my dear.
No trouble?
No, not a bit. Everything went off splendidly.
Good. David, that flat. It was a little too realistic. Don't ever do it again.
Well, look, I was only
I'm taking $500 out of your cut for that. You're to follow orders, nothing else.
Listen, if you think you can get away...
That's exactly the point, David. I do think. You don't. Tillett might have seen a scar on your wrist when you slapped me. You've got a record. You could be identified by that. Follow orders in the future.
Oh, now, children.
Be quiet, Halliday. Do you understand, David?
Yeah, sorry.
All right. When are you disposing of the things, Halliday?
I'm flying to San Francisco tomorrow.
Good. Today's the 10th. We'll meet at my flat on the 15th, 8 o'clock. That should give you enough time.
Oh, ample, my dear, ample.
David, where are you staying?
Join on 84th Street, off the park.
I think it would be better if you moved to a hotel. Change your name, too. Don't phone me. Send a note to the usual place.
Sure.
Ah, here we are, dinner. The finest food in New York, my dear. Just wait. You'll see.
We had done much better than I thought we would. Although I didn't expect Halliday to sell for more than 40,000 in San Francisco. I remember, as I brushed my hair before going to bed that night, that I felt almost sorry for Mr. Tillett. But he was such an old roue. Next time, he'd know better. Wicked little eyes. I didn't get up until 11 the next morning. It was a wonderful day, bright and clear. I was having my second cup of coffee when... Yes?
Police. Miss Barnes?
Yes, just a moment. I'm awfully sorry.
All right, Miss Barnes. May I come in? My name's Boland, robbery detail.
Well, I suppose so. I think you might have telephoned first. Did you find the jewels?
Not yet. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, I thought I'd answered them all yesterday.
No, miss.
Oh. Would you like some coffee?
No, thanks.
Oh, please sit down. You make me feel awkward.
I'm sorry.
Now, Mr. Boland.
You know a man named Archer, Miss Barnes? David Archer?
No. No, I don't think so.
He was picked up this morning. We think that he was one of the men in the robbery yesterday.
Really?
He was identified by a scar on his wrist. Mr. Tillett remembered it.
Oh, how wonderful. But there were two men.
Yes, we know. You're sure you don't know Archer?
No, I'm positive I don't.
You've never met him?
No. You sound as though you think I should, Mr. Boland.
You were followed after the robbery, Miss Barnes. You went to a restaurant on East 53rd Street. You had dinner there with two men. One of them was Archer.
That's ridiculous.
No. Our man didn't know it was Archer until this morning. When Mr. Tillett called the department about the scar, we got out photographs. He was identified. The detective who followed you recognized Archer.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, Mr. Boland.
We're not. The whole thing was too nicely timed. Who was the other man?
Really? I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Get dressed, please, Miss Barnes. You'll have to come downtown.
Am I under arrest?
Let's say you're a material witness. It sounds better.
I don't think I was frightened. I was terribly annoyed, though. But at least they hadn't got Halliday. Mr. Boland questioned me in a dirty little office at police headquarters. He wasn't at all like a Scotland Yard man. He smoked, allowed me to smoke. His first name was Jack, and he was rather nice-looking.
Name?
Pamela Kittredge Barnes.
Age?
24.
Height and weight?
5'4", 119 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Scars or marks?
No.
Nationality?
British.
Married?
No.
Previous convictions?
None.
You know we'll check with the other side on that.
I imagine that you will. And when the questioning was finished, they released me. Perhaps Mr. Boland thought that I'd lead him to Halliday. I didn't, but I got in touch by telephone.
Oh, you just caught me. I was on my way to the airport. Anything wrong?
The police have arrested David. They questioned me this morning. I'm free at the moment.
Oh, what?
Now, look here, there's not much time. I know they'll get in touch with Scotland Yard about me. And when they do, I won't have a chance.
I suppose not.
A couple of men followed me from police headquarters, so I can't very well get away. But, Halliday...
Yes, dear?
I want to know where I can reach you.
Oh, when?
Later, if they put me away, so I can get my money.
Well, as soon as I get back from San Francisco, I'll phone you. If something's happened, word will have gone around. Now, don't worry. When you get out, the money will be here waiting for you.
Where?
I'll get in touch. I'm a dash now, darling. The plane. All the best.
Halliday.
Good afternoon, Miss Barnes.
Oh, Mr. Boland. I thought...
We just received a cable from Scotland Yard about you. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to pack your things.
This time, you're arresting me, aren't you?
That's right.
David Archer got 10 years. I spent 2 years, 9 months, and 14 days in prison. And I was nearly 27 when I went back to New York. The first thing I did was to get my hair done. Halliday hadn't been in touch with me, but I realized it might have been too dangerous. The police and the insurance company were still looking for the jewels. So I began to look for Halliday. I telephoned every hotel in New York and every possible contact that Halliday might have had. And at the end of a month, I knew what had happened. He'd gone, run out, leaving no word, and my share of the money had gone with him. Hello?
Miss Barr?
Yes?
My name's Robert Wiley. I'm downstairs in the bar. I'd like to come up and talk to you for a few minutes.
I don't think I...
No, you don't know me, but I've heard about you.
Oh?
Some people have been saying that you're looking for somebody.
People?
Yeah. They say you're looking for someone called Halliday.
Do they?
Listen, I'm not a cop, if that's what you mean. Can I come up?
I'm not in the habit of receiving strangers in my hotel room, Mr. Wiley. If you'll wait a few minutes, I'll come down.
Okay, I'll wait for you here in the bar. What'll you be wearing?
A gray tweed coat.
Right. So long.
Table over there, okay?
Yes.
You're English, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, I thought so.
How clever of you. You too?
I was.
What was it you wanted to see me about?
A deal?
What kind of a deal?
I'll sell you Colonel Halliday.
You know where he is?
That's right.
I haven't any money.
But you will have when you find Halliday.
Who told you about me? About Halliday?
Halliday? I've been working for him. At least I was up until a couple of weeks ago. We didn't agree on a couple of things, and he ended up double-crossing me.
How much do you want?
50-50? Partners.
Too much, Mr. Wiley. Much too much.
I don't think so. Halliday's a big shot now. You're going to need help. You couldn't do it without me.
Did he tell you how much he got for the job?
50,000.
Oh.
Well, what do you say?
All right. Where is he?
Partners?
Yes. Where is he, Mr. Wiley?
Of course, there's one little thing.
What's that?
He said if he ever saw me again, he'd kill me.
Isn't that going to make it rather awkward? I mean, for you?
No, it might. Then that's where you come in.
Exactly how do I come in, Mr. Wiley?
Well, I thought it might be awkward for Halliday to knock me off if we get to him first.
In other words, before you tell me where he is, I have to agree to help you kill him. Is that the idea?
If you want your dough, that's the idea.
I want my dough, Mr. Wiley. Where is he? Halliday was in London, and a week after our meeting, Robert Wiley and I booked passage on the first steamer. It was the second day of our departure. I remember the night, lovely and clear. Wiley had gone to buy a packet of cigarettes. I was leaning over the rail, watching the flashes of phosphorus, and the water was endless.
You want to be careful leaning over the rail like that.
It's beautiful.
Well, I wouldn't want to be in it.
Can't you swim, Mr. Wiley?
Listen, now let's forget that Wiley stuff. Bob, okay?
Okay.
How does a girl like you get mixed up with Halliday?
I wasn't mixed up with him. He was mixed up with me. There's a difference, you know.
He worked for you?
That's right.
Are you kidding?
Not at all. Why should I?
Well, from what he says, you were the front girl, and he worked out the deal.
The Colonel used to be an actor. I don't think he can bear second billing.
Oh, you're quite a girl.
And are you quite a boy?
I've been told. I say, why?
I know you feel that because you're a man, you have to behave like one, but don't ever do that again.
I don't get that.
I have no intention of letting you. You'd better understand this. You and I have a business arrangement. I want my money. You want to take care of the Colonel. We'll keep to that.
Okay. Don't you ever relax?
I relaxed for 2 years, 9 months, and 14 days in prison. I feel like working now. Do you understand?
No, but if that's the way you want it.
It is. And if you ever try to touch me again, we are finished. 3 days later, we were in London. We found a nondescript hotel in Chelsea and lay doggo for a time. It wasn't going to be easy. The Colonel was a very top dog in black market, and we both knew that if he ever found out that Wiley was in England, there'd be trouble. It was Wiley's idea that I go to see him in his flat, but I thought an accidental meeting would be better, and so we planned it that way. I bumped into the Colonel at Piccadilly Circus.
Oh, beg your pardon.
I'm so sorry.
Pam, I say it is you.
Colonel, I'd no idea.
Jeffrey, this is marvelous. I mean, absolutely marvelous. How long have you been over here?
Only a few weeks.
Oh, marvelous. Oh, you're lovely as ever, lovely. Look here, could we have a cocktail together? Talk of old times?
Oh, I'd love to.
Oh, marvelous. How about Scots? They know me there.
We went to Scott's, and on the way, he prattled about England, his England, and of the old days in America, and it was all quite respectable talk. The Colonel was a striking man, wore his clothes beautifully, and walked with the carriage you'd expect from a man who looked like that. They knew him very well in the restaurant. I began to see that this was not the same Halliday I had known 3 years before. We sipped our drinks, and it was all like a very exciting play. He knew I was going to ask him about the money from the robbery, and I knew that my partner was going to kill him.
Well, things are not quite the way they were, although I suppose one must put up with it. Mustn't one?
You seem to have done nicely, Colonel.
Oh, my lovely girl. It's all a matter of comparison, purely.
Comparison to the jobs we used to do on the other side?
Oh, darling. Those are trifles. I have no time for such nonsense now.
Neither have I. What did you do with the jewels?
Jewels?
Yes. The ones we got from Tillett. Remember? You went to San Francisco?
By Jove, of course. What a marvelous memory you have. It's marvelous.
Isn't it?
Yes. It's not a bad show, I'm afraid. I was hijacked, as our American cousin so quaintly put it.
Who did it?
I don't know. It happened in San Francisco.
Oh.
Yes. And then when I heard what had happened to you and Archer, I gave up and came home to England.
You were awfully lucky, weren't you?
No, not really.
Now, it's strange, because I heard that you got $50,000 in San Francisco.
No.
Yes.
Rot. Oh. Who said so?
Wiley. Robert Wiley.
Wiley? And who is Robert Wiley?
Oh, what's the use of all that, Colonel? You know very well.
As a matter of fact, I have the slightest idea of what you're talking about. I gather that I'm supposed to be on close terms with this Wiley chap.
That's right.
I see. Well, you can only believe one of us, can't you? And I tell you, I have never even heard of the man.
I do know you better than I know him, Colonel.
Then you take my word, eh?
No. I take his. I'd like my share, Halliday.
My dear child.
I want my share.
What can I say? I know what you've been through. I think of poor Archer still incarcerated, but on my word of honor, Pam, I didn't get a brass farthing.
I want my money now.
Oh, Pam, you're too marvelous.
I mean it.
Darling girl, things have changed, you know. Over here, I'm the man. I don't take orders anymore. And if I did, it wouldn't be from a woman. Certainly not from you, Pam. You're much too emancipated, even for me.
I think I would have killed him then, in Scots. If I'd had a gun or a knife, I would have killed him. And as I walked to the underground station, I did something I can never remember having done before. I cried. When I got back to the hotel, I went to Wiley's room and told him what had happened. We were agreed we would have to work fast. And so that night we went to Halliday's flat.
Who is it?
Pam, may I speak to you for a minute?
Oh, darling. Oh.
Hello, Colonel.
Dear girl, how are you? Come in.
Thanks.
Oh, twice in one day. You surprised me, Pam. But then you always did. You sit down, won't you? And your young man? Drinks?
No, thank you.
Well, then, what shall we talk about?
You?
Oh, I say, in front of this gentleman? You know you haven't introduced me, Pam.
Are you kidding?
I never kid.
You're a rotten liar.
I may be, but I should still like to know... Oh, this must be, Robert Wiley. Am I right?
There's not much point to this.
No. I want my money, Halliday.
Of course. And what do you want, Wiley?
Never mind.
You know, this is almost funny, Pam. I don't know what you're up to, but I've really never seen this chap before in my life.
You think she's going to believe that?
Probably not.
You can give me Archer's share, too.
Well, how thoughtful of you. And you'll see that he gets it, won't you?
Yes.
Come on, the money. Oh, yes. Tell me, Wiley, where did we know each other? When?
What do you think you're going to do? Play me off against her?
No, not at all. I'm just interested.
Colonel,
Yes, sir?
when you open the safe, please be careful.
Oh. A gun now, eh?
Yes.
Put it away. It's my job.
I underestimated you, my dear. I shouldn't have done that. You will have to take it in pounds, you know.
That's all right.
Poor Archer. I wonder if he'll look for you when he gets out.
He might. Hurry up, please.
Will you tell me one thing?
What?
Who is this man, really?
Hand it over.
Why are you afraid to let me talk, Mr. Wiley? Don't you want her to find out the truth?
Give me the money.
Look out for him, Pam, dear. I don't know what he's been telling you, but...
I'm going to tell you something now. I swore to myself that if I ever found you, I'd pay you out for what you did to me. I'd get my money and I'd pay you. I'm going to, Colonel. He wants to do it, but I owe you more.
Oh, Pam, no! Pam! Oh, you silly! Give me that. I've been telling you the truth, Pam. I've never seen him in my life.
Why did you have to do that?
Because I wanted to.
You must be crazy.
Come on.
You're not going anywhere.
Oh, stop it. Come on.
You stay right there. I've got to call the police.
Police?
Yes. Maybe you should have listened to him.
What do you mean?
I'm with International Insurance Company, a New York office. We knew the jewels had been sold, but we wanted to recover as much of the money as we could.
You didn't know him?
No. But I knew you'd be looking for him when you got out. We wanted to get you both together.
Don't. Wait a moment.
What?
On the boat coming over, remember? You wanted to kiss me.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps I've changed my mind now.
I think I have, too. I don't think we'd be happy together. You're not exactly my idea of the ideal wife, you know?
If I ever get out, I'm going to kill you.
If you ever get out, I deserve to get killed. Hello, Scotland Yard? I want to report a murder.
And so closes tonight's tale of Suspense. Suspense.
Mutual presents Arch Oboler's Plays. The Mutual Broadcasting System has the pleasure of presenting the 7th broadcast of a special 26-week series of plays by radio playwright Arch Oboler. In this series, we hope to bring you dramas full of excitement and meaning, the excitement of good stories, and the meaningfulness of plays told in relation to the expanding world in which we live. The play will be introduced by Mr. Peter Lorre.
When I read the announcement that Mr. Oboler was returning to the air over the Mutual Broadcasting System, I was very happy indeed. I sent letters of thanks to Mr. Kobach and Mr. Carlin, Mr. Dunley and Mr. Marconi and everybody else connected with radio, because Mr. Oboler, he writes such wonderful, nice horror stories, and horror stories always make me very happy. But I listened to the first week, and the play was all about our post-war responsibilities. No horror. And I listened to the second week, and the play was all about a gentleman called Vincent van Gogh. No horror. And I listened to the third week, and the fourth week, and the fifth week, and the sixth week. No horror at all. And I said to myself, oh, no, he can't do this to me. So I went to see him, and I said, please, Mr. Oboler, I'm very unhappy. Why don't you write me a nice horror story? And he said,
I'm really very sorry, Mr. Lorry. I'm not going to write a horror play for this series.
Oh, but why? You write such nice horror plays. Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember the one, you remember about the wife who turned into a cat and ate up the canary? And the body that was turned inside out, and you could hear everything happening. Oh, and the Chinaman whose head was cut off, and his ghost kept asking, where is my head? Where is my head? And the old man in a cage who made necklaces out of the bones of young girls.
Mr. Lorry, it's no use. It's no use. I'm not going to write a horror play.
But what's the matter? Have you forgotten how to do it? Are you slipping, Mr. Oboler?
Oh, just a minute, Mr. Lorry. If I might say so objectively, if I put my mind to it, I can bring out goosebumps on a bowling ball.
You don't say.
I just did. But I'm not going to write any horror plays for this series.
But why?
I'd rather not say.
Oh. Well, would you mind teaching me how to do it? You know, the tricks of the terror trade, so to speak. I've appeared in so many horror stories. Perhaps if you show me how to do it, I could write to myself, huh? And then Mr. Oboler looked at me with his big green eyes, and he said,
all right, Mr. Lorry, you asked for it. An exercise in horror.
An Exercise in Horror, a peculiar comedy.
Before we begin, may I post a warning?
This broadcast is not intended for strong-minded children under 12 or weak-minded adults over 21.
First, Mr. Lorry, we'll take up the matter of horror in motion pictures.
Grandeur Pictures presents The Bloody Monster.
It goes something like this.
John.
Huh?
John, wake up.
What's the matter?
Listen. Do you hear?
No, it can't be. I shot him. I hung him. I burned him. I drove a stake through his heart.
It's at the door.
No. Go away. You're dead. I'll get back the jewels. Don't come in. No, don't. Frankenstein!
Instead of Frankenstein's monster, you can substitute the Wolf Man or the Walking Zombie or the Invisible Man or the Divisible Man or the Reversible Man. But it all adds up to the same thing. Goose pimples for 35 cents matinee, 55 cents evening, servicemen in uniform, half rate.
Super Production presents 20 great stars in Ghost Light.
In contrast to our previous low-budgeted horror, this production cost in the neighborhood of $2 million. No monsters are allowed in this picture. The horror is purely schizophrenic and paranoid.
In other words, you mean it's about nuts?
Well, yes. With your assistance, Mr. Lorry, a demonstration.
What do you want of me?
Oh, don't be frightened. You're very beautiful. But I didn't marry you because you were beautiful. It was because of your ear.
My ear?
Don't be frightened. Yes, your ear. Your lovely right ear. Didn't I tell you?
Tell me what?
Don't be frightened. Didn't I tell you when I married you that I have a fetish for ears? Right ears? Don't be frightened. Oh, it would look so beautiful. Your right ear hanging from my watch chain.
Oh, yes, very definitely. The $2 million notwithstanding, there must always be a scream. So now, Mr. Lorry, you know about horror and motion pictures.
Oh, but please, Mr. Oboler, I want to do my horror stories for the radio.
Radio? Oh, that's simple, too. First, there's the horror series that always starts with an opening door.
Somebody really ought to oil that hinge.
This type of radio horror program is the Don't Be Frightened Kiddies, We're Only Fooling School. It goes like this.
My arm! You're breaking my arm! No, don't! My arm! My arm!
And now it's your turn.
No, my head! You're crushing my head! Don't!
Now you, my third victim.
What are you going to do to me?
I'm going to take away your blood. Your blood. All your blood. It's like a little waterfall.
And just at the moment when your stomach begins to ask questions, that voice comes on.
Are you frightened? Are you really, really frightened? Well, I'm not. Why should I be? I'm getting paid for this. And you just wait until you get through the commercial and you hear the next half of the program. Such lovely gore. I'm knee-deep in it in the studio. And if tonight you wake up and there's a little gory ghost sitting on your chest, think nothing of it. Don't worry. You won't die of it. There isn't a ghost of a chance.
Gee, somebody really ought to oil that hinge.
Also in radio, we have the type of horror extravaganza which opens with a series of chimes beaten by a sound man who hits each chime as if it were his wife. The characters of the play then begin to crime through your loudspeaker with enough reality to make you wish, as you pull the covers over your head that night, that the author had been strangled while very young.
Turn off your lights, everybody.
Sam, get up. Sam, what do you want to faint for? Sam, get up, I tell you. We got to get out of here. The shadows. They're crawling along the floor toward us. Come on, Sam. You're too heavy. I can't lift you, Sam. Sam, you got to hear me. The shadows, they're crawling toward me along the floor. I can't leave you here, Sam. You saw what the shadows did to her. Look at her. Inside out. They turned her inside out. They're coming faster and faster, the shadows, along the floor like long black fingers. My life. Let go of me. Sam, I can't help you. They're holding me back. The black shadows covering you over. Sam, they're covering you over. Turning you inside out.
Very interesting, but you haven't told me one thing.
What's that?
Why won't you write any more horror stories? The truth, please, Mr. Oboler.
Yes, truth. I can't write any horror plays because some people in recent years have been writing far more potent ones than I can ever do.
Please tell me about these artists.
All right. Without permission of the copyright owners, may I bring you a few scenes from the works of these artists, presented to you without interruption for commercial or apology or warning or explanation. Here, Mr. Laurie, ladies and gentlemen, is horror such as I could never invent.
More coffee, Vater?
Ja, bitte.
More Kuchen?
Ja. Ach, Mutter, I think I've eaten too much.
I think so, too.
No, Father. You can never eat too much. The fatter he gets, the more beautiful he gets. Isn't that so, Mutter?
I think so, too. Martha, come, the dishes are getting tired on the table.
Mutter, what time does the concert start?
Oh, we have time. It's not until after 8.
Oh, so. Then I will sit here and smoke. Where's Carl?
Oh, some meeting somewhere.
Carl and his meetings.
Did you see his new uniform?
Yes, I saw his uniform.
He looks so straight and thin.
When I was his age, in my uniform, I looked thin, too.
I still like you the way you are.
It's been such a nice Sunday. Water, such a wonderful lunch, such a wonderful supper. Now we go to the concert to get pissed on.
The little ducks, Father. Aren't they cute?
Yeah. They should not let the children tease them so much. Animals should not be molested.
That is right, Father. We should write a letter to the paper.
Already it's written.
Father, with his kind heart.
Well, I'd better go out and see how she's doing.
Music of the heart. There's nothing to be ashamed.
Well, I'd better get started.
Jawohl.
Vater, what's that?
Oh, I don't know. Something in the street. I go look.
Vater, what is it?
Oh, some of the young men of that new, what is the name, Nazi party.
What are they doing?
Oh, having some fun with an old Jew. Hurry, Mutter, get your things. We'll be late for the concert.
Why are you standing there? This is no time to be such a student. Go drink beer.
Ja, Großvater. How is the grandpapa?
The grandpapa is fine. Are you enjoying the party?
I think I am a little drunk.
Sure you're drunk. This is a time to be drunk. Excuse me if I can get through. What is it?
He is sleeping.
Oh, that is very nice.
Your voice should be clear. Keep it down.
I am whispering. May I look at him?
You have seen him 1,000 times.
Anna, as you are the grandmother, I am the grandfather.
All right, all right. Come, look. But quiet.
Schönes Sticky.
She is beautiful. There's his mama.
Oh, she is out there laughing and dancing. Well, why shouldn't she? Now her son has a name. Heinrich.
It is a good name. Oh, I almost forgot. He sent a present.
Oh, everyone sent present.
No, a special one from little Heinrich's namesake. Yeah, here's the package.
Oh, To Heinrich Brock from Herr Heinrich Himmler.
Open. Open?
No, his mama.
She will have plenty to open. Herr Himmler's present. I must see it.
Yeah.
Oh, Papa, such a beautiful book.
Yeah. The Triumph of the Reich.
Such a gift. Such an honor. Such a godparent.
Yeah, but...
What is the matter?
The covering of the book.
Beautiful.
But what,
Some kind of skin?
Yes. Look at these marks.
What?
Tattoo.
Oh.
What is the difference?
Yes. What is the difference?
Come, we will show it to Anna. It is her child. Anna, look what a beautiful gift.
So nice. Yeah. When I was a very young man, I wished to become a great violin virtuoso.
Well?
Yeah. That old Italiener, he plays from the heart.
Yeah.
When the war is over, I think I will come back here.
No. I do not like so much sun.
I will bring my wife, my children. The young ones will like the green hills.
No. Too much sun for me.
It must be time for lunch. Italiener, old man.
Sì, signore. Che vale, signore?
What happened to the chicken cacciatore your wife was going to make us today?
Oh, yes, the chicken cacciatore. I gave you my word you were to have a chicken cacciatore, and a chicken cacciatore you will have.
But we are hungry now.
Senor, when I married my wife 40 years ago, my mama, she said to me, Luigi, no marry this woman. I said, Mama, I no can hear you. My mama, she said, Luigi, no marry this woman. My mama, she's all right. My wife, she's no good. All the morning she chase one chicken and no can catch it. Hey, what's the matter? I say something funny? Senor, you hear it? She catching the chicken cacciatore. He's out of your way to your mouth. Hey, I'm coming.
Such a charming, foolish people. Time to them is not. Yesterday I asked how old the house was. He said, as old as the church. I asked him how old the church was. He said, as old as the house.
Oh, Kinder.
He was so proud of this old place. Well, it has its own beauty. What happened to the music? Senor, will you play for us? It is a day for your music.
Si, signore.
I laugh at them. We have been billeted here in this village only a month, and it's as if it was forever. I lie here on the grass, the music, the sun, and tomorrow is today, and today is tomorrow, and who cares?
Yeah, Herr Hauptmann, who cares?
Verzeihung, Herr Hauptmann.
Yes, what?
A message, sir, from headquarters.
Headquarters? Give it to me. So, Lieutenant.
So what here, Herr Hauptmann?
An American armored column is coming up the valley. We are ordered to retire. Assemble your men.
So what here, Herr Hauptmann?
Lieutenant, wait.
Put into execution the general order. All buildings with livestock and property in this valley ought to be destroyed. Everything. We'll start on this house. We are quite through with it. But, Lieutenant, if that old Italiana tries to interfere, burn him too.
Please, Herr Oboler, do not be so angry.
Fool. Angry. Angry. I have every right to be angry. Every right.
But the conditions...
There are no conditions. I ask you one question. Are you a businessman, and is this a business?
There's no argument, Herr
No
Oboler.
argument. That is generous of you. That is magnanimous of you. You stupid fool. You make such mistakes, and you tell me there's no argument?
You should not talk to me so, Herr
I will
Oboler.
talk to you as I please. I'm the founder of this business. I'm the majority stockholder. It is my brains, my influence. Yes, my influence and the chancellery alone which gives you the bread you eat in your own home. Remember that. Do not forget it.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
So, now we have an understanding. Now I will correct your mistakes. Come.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
Faster. What faster? How can we get things done if you crawl along like a tired old woman?
Ja, Herr Oboler.
Wait. Stop. Look at the dirt on this machinery. How can there be efficiency if there is dirt?
But only this morning.
This morning is not now. The product must be absolutely clean.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
All right. Move on. Move on.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
Now then, here. Here at this machine is your mistake. You see? If the conveyor belt came from the right instead of the left, you see how obvious it is?
But I thought...
Do not think, I will think. If the metal cans came from this side instead of the other, there would be no difficulty. The finished cans would go on in a straight line. You see? You see?
Jawohl, jawohl.
All right, come. I will say one thing more. Always you should bear in mind that this great opportunity has been given to us purely on trial. As it has been given to us, so it can be taken away. If we operate properly, efficiently, we will make a fortune. If we are foolish, make foolish mistakes, are non-efficient, dirty, turn out an inferior product, in a short while we are kaput. You understand?
Ja, Herr Oboler. This new labeling machine, as the cans come down the line, this new machine labels two at once.
Most efficient. As you can well understand, this particular project will not last forever. After all, the sources of raw material will not always be there.
Ja, Herr Oboler.
If we have performed this function efficiently, I'm sure the authorities will remember us and reward us accordingly.
Oh, I hope so, Herr Oboler.
Yes. Look at this can. Beautiful product. Most efficient one. What a pity when the material is all used up. I understand that the crematories in western Poland have practically shut down. Yeah. A wonderful product for our German gardens. Of that there is no doubt. There is no better fertilizer than human ashes.
It's getting colder.
Ja, Vater.
Put up your coat, Carla.
Ja, Vater.
They should at least have sent us back by one of their army trucks. Ah, well, the work will clear our heads. Well, What do you think, Friedrich?
It was terrible, Vater.
Yeah, terrible.
All those bodies and the smell.
Yeah, schrecklich. And only a mile from our own village.
Yeah, Vater.
I never thought I would see with my own eyes. But then I never thought many things. That our great Wehrmacht would be beaten. That these Americans would be here, victorious.
Can't we walk faster, Papa?
Yeah. Mutter will have some supper ready. I could use some hot soup. Mutter was so frightened. When the Americans came and said that all we men of the village must go see the camp, she thought they were going to execute us. You did not know that?
No, Vater.
Yeah, she told me that. Of course, I told her she was a fool. These are Americans.
But they were very harsh, very stern.
Yeah, good soldiers. Friedrich, you had better not tell Mutter what we saw. After all, she is a woman.
Whatever you say, Vater.
Such a terrible thing, so close to our village. Friedrich.
Yeah, Vater?
You know what was the most terrible of all?
The body that hung on a hook like...
No. Do not be so young. Don't think of it that way. What you saw, do not think of as human. It was Russian, Polish, that's all. The most terrible thing was that it was not hidden.
What?
Hidden, destroyed, before the Americans got there. No such record should have been left. The body should have been destroyed, the buildings burned. It is the duty of Germans to do things to perfection. Whatever is done, to perfection. Remember that, Friedrich. Always remember that.
Yeah, Vater.
Well, Mr. Laurie, that's it. No, one more. One more horror story, and I want you to participate. Yes, you and every man and woman and child listening in. Each of you in his own imagination. And I cast you, Peter Laurie, as the narrator.
Fill the Yankee Stadium in New York with 100,000 people. There isn't room for that many. No matter, jam them in. Jam them in and shut the gates. Let them wait there. Go to Chicago. Take Soldiers Field. Jam another 100,000 into it. Lock the gates on them. Tell them to wait. We'll be back very quickly. Go to the Sugar Bowl down south. Another 100,000 into it. Lock the gates on them. Go to Cleveland Stadium. Lock in another 100,000. Go to Kezar Stadium in San Francisco. Fill that up with another 100,000. And to the Coliseum in Los Angeles. And fill it to the brim with another 100,000 human beings. Now, stand in the center of those stadia, where men have played a game called football, and look around you at the people. 100,000 in Los Angeles, 100,000 in San Francisco, 100,000 in Chicago, Cleveland, in New Orleans, and in New York. Look at them. 600,000 people. Have you ever seen so many? So many people? Some relatives, neighbors, friends. Most of them strangers. But people, drawing breath as you do, looking down at you, and wondering why they are there. I'll tell you why they are there, and why you are there. Give a signal. Yes, give a signal. And in New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, all at once, turn machine guns on these people. Kill them. You heard me. Kill them. Kill the people. Spray the bullets around the stadium into the faces of the girls, the fathers, the old grandparents, the mothers, the young men, and the old men, and the children, and the babies. Listen to the scream, but don't stop. Blast the bullets into them as they tear around in panic. Kill them. Kill them. Never stop until they are all dead. Until their bodies cover all the seas
in Soldiers Field, in Yankee Stadium, in Cleveland, in New Orleans, in San Francisco, and Los Angeles, until not a groan is heard, not one finger moves, until a mass of flesh is silent, and the only sound you hear is the rush of their blood as it pours down the cascades of the seats and gurgles into the gutters, right to where you stand.
That, then, is my last horror story. But I have not written even that. It was written already. It has happened already. Yes, 600,000. Not in 6 places, but in one. One place where all the gates were closed, and they milled around and died, and blood poured in the gutters, even as I told you. People who had contributed their share to culture and civilization, who worked and then died altogether, and the world let them die. The place, the ghetto of Warsaw. And that is why I can write no more horror for you today, for here is the ultimate of horror. The murderers who held the guns or who gave the orders or who merely stood behind and condoned, some of these murderers still live, and there are those who say we must have pity for them. And that is why I can write you no more horror.
You have just heard An Exercise in Horror, a new play by Arch Oboler. The leading player was Mr. Peter Lorre. Included in the cast with Mr. Lorre were Bruce Elliott, Theodore von Eltz, Will Wright, Bill Christie, George Sorrell, Francis Pascoe, Victor Rodman, Harry Lang, Frank Martin, Winifred Wolfe, Lisa Golm, Jane Morgan, and Bill Shaw. The original musical score was composed and conducted by David Raxon. Sound, Jack Snell with Bill James and Norman Smith. Next week brings you Triple Feature, 3 new plays by Arch Oboler, 3 comedies in a triple feature. This will be the 8th in a special series of plays written, produced, and directed by Arch Oboler. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
And now, stay tuned for the mystery program that is unique among all mystery programs. Because even when you know who is guilty, you always receive a startling surprise at the final curtain. In the Signal Oil program, The Whistler. Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline, invites you to sit back and enjoy another strange story by The Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
And now for the Signal Oil Company, The Whistler's strange story. 3 minus 1 equals murder.
It was on the outskirts of Los Angeles. The girl stood in the glare of the oncoming headlights, waving her arms, not knowing for certain if the young man at the wheel could see her through the rain and the 3 a.m. darkness. She wondered if he was going to go on past, and she shouted out to him,
"Stop! Please stop!"
Hey, what's the matter? I almost ran over you.
Oh, I was afraid you wouldn't stop.
I got a flat.
Look, if you expect me to change a tire in this rain...
No, of course not. I can pick up the car tomorrow. How about a lift, huh?
Okay, get in.
Thanks. Well, something wrong?
No. Nothing's wrong.
I didn't think I looked that bad.
No. You looked good. You're just a little wet. We better get going.
I thought that was the idea.
Yeah. Well, where to?
It's not far. Turn left down here and then take the road up to the hills. What's so funny?
Well, it sounds like you're taking me to Lover's Lane.
I see you've been there before.
Only to look at the view.
And did you like it?
The view?
Mm-hmm.
Left me breathless. Oh, here, take my handkerchief.
Oh, thanks. Oh, you're wonderful. Sure glad you came along.
You been to a party?
No, I was just coming home from work.
Work? In those clothes?
I'm a singer, Sylvia Starr. My real name is Sylvia Sanford.
Oh, where?
Marriott.
Well, it's quite a spot.
Now my interview. Name?
Yeah, Matt Blake.
Matt Blake. Nice. Profession?
Airplane mechanic at Glenview Airport.
Sounds very exciting.
As a matter of fact, it's pretty dull, especially the late shift. Just came off duty.
Lucky for me.
Hey, if we don't hurry to get you home, you won't be able to sing.
Oh, just around a couple of more curves. Who was it that said, let's get out of these wet clothes into a dry martini?
Oh, Robert Finchley.
Oh, he knew what he was talking about. Say, wouldn't you like to come in for a drink? Maybe by that time the rain will stop.
Well, that's the best idea I've heard all evening.
Here, turn in this driveway. Watch it, it's pretty sharp.
You mean you live here?
Mm-hmm. Big, isn't it?
Singers must be doing all right these days.
Oh, I'm not that good. I married money.
Oh, you're married? Well, look, I'd better be getting out.
Don't be silly. He's out of town.
Oh.
Well, after all, you've driven me clear up here. The least you deserve is a drink.
Okay. You twisted my arm.
Oh, here's a light. Oh, it's good to be inside. Give me a coat. Make yourself at home.
Home? I feel more like I was in a hotel.
Then straight down the hall here.
Wow. This is very cozy. Very cozy.
I'm having brandy and soda. What would you like?
Oh, that's good. Hold the soda on the side. You're sure your husband isn't here?
Positive. He won't be home for 2 days.
Well, good for him.
Here you are.
There. Home, sweet home.
I'll open the curtain so we can look at the light. You know, when I'm alone, I like to sit here at night and look at the world down there.
Are you, alone often?
Yes. Dutch, my husband's gone quite a lot. With him, business comes first.
Yeah, well, somehow I find that hard to believe.
Oh, he's not at all like me. We live in 2 different worlds.
What does he do in his world? Rob banks for a living?
No, he's got timberlands. He owns half the trees in Oregon.
Lady, you are in clover.
Am I?
What does that mean?
Lots of girls think diamonds are a girl's best friend till they have them. Then they find out they want something more.
Yeah, you women are all alike. You've got to complicate your lives.
You got something against romance?
I'm beginning to think more of it every minute. But with me, it might get in the way. You see, I'm a firm believer in the old school of marrying rich widows. They can't afford to be sentimental. There's either money or love, not both.
No.
By the way, how's your husband's health?
Better than mine.
Lucky fellow. Perfect health, imported brandy, and a beautiful wife.
In that order?
Not if you were mine. I'd put you right at the top of the list. You and your blonde hair.
Here, give me a glass.
I wish I could say let me take you away from all this, but somehow it doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't, does it? You'd better just finish your drink before we change our minds.
Yes, Sylvia, you send him away. And you're a little sorry it has to be this way, aren't you? Matt is handsome, with the charm of frankness you like so much. But you know what you're doing. And you wait just long enough before managing a second meeting out at the airport.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, Joe?
I'm here to see you.
You see me? Who is it?
Standing over there. Tell me how you do it sometime.
Sylvia.
Hello, Matt. I just wanted to thank you for the lift the other night.
Oh, any time, baby. I didn't expect to see you here at the airport.
See that civilian plane that just took off? Dutch is in it. Another trip.
How long's you gone this time?
Oh, a couple of days. Look, if I'm interrupting
Hey,
your work...
hold it, sweetheart. You can't come and go this easy. How's the brandy holding on?
Oh, there's plenty left.
Oh, that's more like it. How about tonight? After I'm through here.
All right, why not? Tonight, Matt.
Things are going fine, aren't they, Sylvia? And after that, you see Matt again and again. And finally, on one of your husband's many trips out of town, you and Matt are together in your cozy den. And you're sure now is the time to get on with your plan. Now that you're finally in his arms.
Oh, baby.
Just hold me, Matt.
Sylvia, what is it with us?
Oh, Matt, don't you know? We're in love, you and me.
But it's impossible. It's crazy.
That's what love is.
Look, darling, use your head. It won't work.
It can work. We can make it work. Listen, darling. This is the chance you've been waiting for. You want a rich widow to take care of you.
Rich widow?
I want the job, Matt.
You're going a little too fast for me.
Do I have to make it any plainer? We could get rid of Dutch.
Wait a minute, Sylvia. You're talking about murder.
We could have his money and each other. Oh, Matt, I'm desperate. Say you'll help me, please.
Wait a minute. You know, Sylvia, you missed your calling. You should be an actress.
What do you mean?
That little speech was very touching.
Matt, I don't...
Do I look that dumb? If you want to get rid of your husband, you'll have to get another sucker. I'm not going to be the fall guy for any dame.
Doesn't my loving you make any difference?
You expect me to believe that? I'm almost wondering if you didn't set this up from the beginning.
Oh, you're a fool, Matt. I love you.
Oh, stop it, Sylvia. When you get right down to it, you're just a woman, and every corner comes equipped with one.
Not like me.
No. Not like you. But an awful lot safer.
Matt, don't leave me.
I'm getting out of here. So long, Sylvia.
All right, go on. But somehow, I think you'll be back.
Go farther. Just mention those two words, go farther, to motorists anywhere around these Pacific Coast states, and what do they think of? Why, Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline, of course. Now, it goes without saying, in order to be known as the Go Farther gasoline, Signal has to give mighty good mileage. But sometimes a product becomes so celebrated for one feature, people forget it has other advantages, too. I'm referring to the satisfying performance, which naturally goes hand in hand with Signal's good mileage. As you've heard me explain before, you get that good Signal mileage because today's Signal gas helps your engine run so efficiently. And when your engine runs efficiently, naturally you also enjoy quicker starting, peppier pickup, smoother power. That's why Signal hopes you'll remember. The best yardstick of a gasoline's performance is its mileage, which also explains why more and more motorists who insist on the tops in driving pleasure are switching to Signal, the famous gasoline that helps you go farther. Go farther. Go farther.
Well, Sylvia, you finally told Matt what's been on your mind so long. The murder of your husband. And you don't give up when Matt storms angrily out, refusing to have any part of it, do you? No, because you're certain that here in this house is the answer to all of Matt's dreams. You, Sylvia, and the easy money he'll share with you once Dutch is dead. Matt stays away from you for a whole week. And then...
Matt. Oh, I knew it was you. I knew it.
Why did I come back?
Don't you know?
I want you to tell me.
Because you love me. And I love you.
Say it again. And mean it, Sylvia.
Close the door.
That tells me everything I want to know.
What now, Matt?
I'll do whatever you want, Sylvia. Anything. But it's got to be quick.
But carefully. It takes planning.
I've seen your husband at the airport, Sylvia, and I've been noticing things. He's the kind who takes chances, likes his night flying.
Everyone knows the chances Dutch takes. Part of his nature.
The way he drives his car. Don't you ever pick him up at the airport?
No, he leaves his car there.
When does he come home next, Sylvia?
Friday night. Why?
Well, that long stretch of road below here before it hits the hills, it's deserted late at night. But supposing he goes off the road at high speed, crashes, people would say he took one chance too many.
Matt, it's awful risky. Whatever you do, be careful.
I'll see that his car goes off the road. So long, baby.
Goodbye, darling.
Well, Sylvia, it's going to happen even sooner than you had dared hope, isn't it? The days ahead seem like years, but you check your impatience, knowing that it's all up to Matt. And whatever happens is on his shoulders. Friday night, you stay within the safety of your house in the hills. But it's not hard to imagine the scene on that lonely stretch of road when the hour comes. Your husband driving at his usual breakneck speed. Now another car coming up behind, then alongside, crowding Dutch over relentlessly. Dutch's angry shout till his tires hit the shoulder, and then the wild crash as his car careens down the embankment.
Hello?
Relax, baby.
Oh, Matt. Matt, are you all right?
I couldn't be better, but I can't say as much for your late husband.
Then it worked. You're sure?
I said relax, Sylvia. It went just like I said it would. He was doing 70 when he went off the road.
Oh, Matt, when will I see you?
I better sit tight tonight. When I see you again, it's for keeps. Right, baby?
Yes, Matt, yes. For keeps.
It looks like the house and everything Dutch has is yours now, Sylvia. And when the doorbell rings an hour later, you're sure it's the police, coming to tell you of your husband's untimely death.
Dutch.
So surprised to see your husband, Sylvia?
Why, no,
It's almost as though you didn't expect me. Or did you?
Well, of course I did. It's just that you look so strange. What happened, Dutch?
I'm not quite sure.
Then something did happen.
The car deliberately ran me off the road. I'm wondering why.
Oh, darling, how awful. The driver must have been drunk.
Maybe. Only he drove away safely enough. I'm not a bad driver myself, Sylvia, or I'd have turned over for sure.
Oh, thank heavens you're all right, honey. Look, why don't I get you a drink and then you can get some rest?
Not now. Come into the den, Sylvia. I want to talk with you.
Tonight? Why?
I've been thinking about you these last few weeks, Sylvia. And what happened in the past hour.
Oh, surely you're not accusing me of...
Is there any reason why I should?
No, of course not. Oh, Dutch, you're not...
Sit down, Sylvia. Now listen to me.
Very well.
I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. You're still my wife. I've made up my mind about a lot of things. To begin with, you're giving up your crazy idea of being a singer again.
I see. In spite of what you think, other people like my voice. They pay to hear me.
They pay money to see you wiggle in those dresses you wear. You haven't changed, Sylvia. You're still the same girl I took out of the carnival 5 years ago, the snake dancer. Come one, come all, only a dime.
Can't you ever forget you found me in a carnival?
I can't forget, Sylvia, because you won't let me.
Oh, why did you marry me? I don't think you ever loved me.
You're wrong, Sylvia. I did love you. And besides, you're beautiful. And I like beautiful things, you know that. Yes, I still take pride in having you here, Sylvia. It soothes a man's ego to have a beautiful young wife.
But you never let me do anything I like. You're always criticizing, always complaining.
Perhaps it's because I see something in you that should be developed, some innate sense of refinement.
Oh, really? You're supposed to marry people for love, not to develop them.
I'm touched deeply, my dear. This is the first time I knew you ever married me for love.
Oh, what makes you this way? Don't you have any feelings?
Stop it, Sylvia. No, I'm going to say this once more, and this time I want it to sink in. I'm not a man who can live alone with disappointment, nor uncertainty about my wife. If you want to go on accepting the comforts I give you, enjoy my money, inherit it if anything happens to me, you're going to have to live the way I want you to.
It's that or else. Is that what you mean, Dutch?
As of this moment, everything is changing. I intend for us to go abroad this winter, and I expect you to conduct yourself like a lady. Is that clear? Is it?
Yes. It's perfectly clear.
Good. And in the meantime, Sylvia, just to remind you, a lady always remains loyal to her husband.
More days go by, Sylvia. But now that Dutch has delivered his ultimatum, you're more than ever determined to do away with him once and for all. But as long as Dutch is home, you don't dare see Matt. Because you're not quite sure how much Dutch might know, are you? But at last you call Matt from the beach house, and he rushes to meet you.
Matt, he's been watching me like a hawk.
Baby, is it safe here?
Yes, he went to Bakersfield, but just for today. Besides, he hardly ever comes to the beach house. Oh, darling, I can't live with him any longer.
I know, baby. It's got to be us, straight down the line.
Soon. It's got to be soon. Every day I'm away from the ice.
But you were right. It's got to be planned. The next time we've got to be sure.
It shouldn't be so difficult, should it, Matt?
No, it's still the getting away with it.
We could still make it look like an accident. He could fall in the pool, or his gun could go off while he was cleaning it.
No, that's no good. At least no better than the last try. Oh. Baby, tell me some more about Dutch.
Well, what? What do you want to know?
Everything. Anything you know. Just talk.
Well, I guess Dutch is what you'd call a proud man. He's always telling how he started with nothing and worked his way up. How he had to fight for everything.
You sit there, Sylvia, talking, as the ice in your drink melts down to water, and the sunlight filling the room gradually turns to shadows. You talk on, oblivious to everything else, waiting for the perfect plan.
That's because he was kicked around. Guess that's why he's never trusted anyone. That's why he learned to fly his own plane, so he wouldn't have to depend on anyone.
His own plane. Why didn't we think of that?
Oh, Matt, would it be possible?
At the Glenview Airport, where I'm a mechanic. Why not? You say he'll be back tonight, Sylvia?
Late, yes.
All right. I better not do anything to draw suspicion. See, you go out to Glenview and be there at the airport waiting for him when he comes in. Find out exactly where he keeps the plane, who his mechanic is, and when he gets the plane ready for the next flight. Now, you understand?
Yes. You mean something could happen to his plane?
I can fix it. Leave that to me.
But what if somebody suspects? Dutch is a good flyer, Matt. He knows planes.
Not like I do. See, a crash at the airport wouldn't be so good. Let him take off, that's it. He gets in the air, things will be going fine till something snaps.
You're sure it's possible?
I tell you, I know a way, Sylvia. And once Dutch crashes and the plane burns, no investigation in the world will turn up anything.
At 11 o'clock that night, Sylvia, you're standing inside the terminal gate waiting for Dutch. You watch the planes land and take off, almost forgetting to breathe. They're the symbol of your freedom now, and then suddenly...
Sylvia!
Oh, Dutch.
I thought I saw you standing at the gate, but I couldn't believe my eyes. Why, I thought you weren't interested in planes.
Well, you're looking at a new woman, honey. I decided that since you spend so much time in the air, I want to know everything about it.
Well, come on over with me, and I'll show you the plane then. Oh, I'm glad you came on, dear. Now, before long, you'll be as crazy about flying as I am.
You're probably right, Dutch. When are you taking your next flight?
Huh? Oh, next Wednesday.
Oh.
Do I detect a note of sadness?
Well, I was just thinking how long away that was. I mean, how long you'll be away.
Sylvia, I've been thinking ever since I got back from my last trip and we quarreled. I've been thinking...
Oh, please, don't start in again, Doc.
No, let me finish. I've been blaming you for all our difficulties, and I've been very harsh, but it's been my fault, too. Maybe more than yours. After all, you're young, full of life, and it's not much fun being tied to a man who's away so much.
Dutch, you don't hear me complaining?
No, wait, Sylvia. I've tried to change you and mold you to my pattern of thinking. That was stupid. You were right. You can't marry people in hopes of changing them. You marry them because you love them. Well, what I'm trying to say, and I'm afraid I'm saying it very badly, is I do love you, Sylvia. Can't we make a new start?
A new start?
I'm going to give up all the business trips unless we can go together, like the trip abroad I've planned. I'm going to stay home with you and spend all of my time making you happy. That would make you happy, wouldn't it?
Why, yes.
And on this next trip, I'm going to get everything in order, wind up the loose ends, and then I promise you, dear, it'll be the last trip I'll take.
Your last trip?
Yes, Sylvia. And we'll make it an occasion you'll never forget.
That night after dinner, you make an excuse to go out, phone Matt. And later, you meet him at an all-night market and start setting the plans for next Wednesday. Lay the groundwork for murder. And then comes the hardest part of all, Sylvia. More waiting. There are 5 days left. 5 days of staring at the clock. 5 days of looking at the calendar. And Dutch never leaves you alone. He's very gay and attentive, trying hard to make you smile. You look up into his face and smile back at him when he kisses you. Every nerve in your body is twisted, but you smile back at him. Because you know you won't have to smile at him much longer. Of course, you don't go with Dutch to the airport Wednesday morning. When he leaves, you kiss him at the door and wave a fond goodbye. You know that Matt is waiting halfway down the hill, his work done, waiting only long enough to see Dutch drive away. It's only a few minutes until Matt arrives and you're in each other's arms.
Oh, you're sure, Matt? You're sure he'll crash?
I'm positive. He won't be in the air more than a few minutes before he loses control.
Oh, what if he notices something wrong before he takes off?
Oh, look, baby, I've taken enough planes apart and put them back together to know what I'm doing. He'll get off the ground, but not too much further. Our worries are over, Sylvia.
Oh, darling. Matt, darling.
Oh, don't cry, baby. We'll have everything now. We can really start to live.
You hear people say, you don't get anything for nothing these days. Well, if I may borrow a phrase from Gershwin, it ain't necessarily so. At least you certainly get a lot of extras without paying extra for them when you buy Lee tires. For instance, like most modern tire makers, Lee uses cold rubber. But Lee gives its cold rubber extra toughness by adding patented high abrasive Fill Black O. All tires have to have some kind of carcass, but Lee gives its carcass extra reinforcement against blowouts and damage with double life rayon cord. And while numerous tires are guaranteed, Lee Super Deluxe passenger tires give you extra protection with a double guarantee. Guaranteed 15 months against all road hazards, guaranteed for life against defective materials and workmanship. Yet you pay nothing extra for all these extras in Lee tires. In fact, right now, signal stations and Lee tire dealers are even giving generous trade-in allowances for old tires. So any way you look at it, for value, for mileage, for safety, your best tire buy is a nationally advertised Lee tire, proudly featured and guaranteed by more than 19,000 dealers throughout America, including all signal service stations.
The blast of the crashing plane was heard all over the valley, sending residents rushing from their homes to see the flames and smoke of the wreckage. Firefighters quickly blocked the area, but the newsmen got through, got the story, and called their papers.
City desk. Hello, Scotty. This is Clary. Here's the story on that plane crash.
Dutch Stanford, the Lumber King?
That's the one.
What about his house?
Nothing left of it. Looks like an atom bomb hit it. According to neighbors, he flew low and buzzed it a couple of times, apparently signaling goodbye to his wife. On the last dive, he couldn't pull out of it. Piled right into his own house.
How did they identify Sanford?
Dutch Sanford wasn't killed. The crash threw him free of the plane, and they pulled him out of some bushes. He'll be as good as new in a few weeks.
Anybody in the house?
They recovered 2 bodies. Dutch's wife, Sylvia, and some guy who was with her. We don't know who he was. Chances are we never will.
Let that whistle be your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler, each Sunday night at the same time. Signal Oil Company has asked me to remind you, the USO, which serves as a home away from home for our boys in uniform, is one of the many worthy services you'll be helping this year when you contribute to the current Community Chest campaign. Featured in tonight's story were Bill Foreman as the Whistler, Doris Singleton, Hy Averback, Bill Conrad, and Bob Bruce. The Whistler was produced and directed by George W. Allen, with story by Jolene Hinman, music by Wilbur Hatch, and was transmitted overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service. The Whistler is entirely fictional, and all characters portrayed on The Whistler are also fictional. Any similarity of names or resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Remember to tune in at the same time next Sunday when the Signal Oil Company will bring you another strange story by The Whistler, entitled Love Match, in which a terrible mistrust between a pair of conspirators leads to grimly exciting mystery and murder. Marvin Miller speaking for the Signal Oil Company. Stay tuned now for our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, which follows immediately over most of these stations. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is Orson Welles, speaking from London.
The Black Museum. The repository of death. Yes, here in the grim stone structure on the Thames, which houses Scotland Yard, is a warehouse of homicide, where everyday objects, a skillet, a screwdriver, a photograph, all are touched by murder. Here's a .22 caliber pistol. It's a familiar object. You've seen one or its picture. You've never touched one. An elegant little weapon. Blue steel, mother of pearl inlaid grip. Beautiful in its dainty, snub-nosed wickedness.
A lady's weapon, wouldn't you say, Pepper?
Looks as if it wouldn't harm a fly. Pretty in its way, Inspector.
Pretty and dangerous. There ought to be a law forbidding the manufacture of these toys. Every one of them is capable of death.
Well, today, this little blue .22 can be found among the exhibits in the Black Museum.
From the annals of the Criminal Investigation Department of the London Police, we bring you the dramatic stories of the crimes recorded by the objects in Scotland Yard's Gallery of Death, the Black Museum. In just a moment, you will hear The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles. Now, The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles.
Well, here we are, in the Black Museum. Scotland Yard's Museum of Murder. It's an impressive place, with a kind of echoing awe which comes from a vaulted ceiling and somber lighting. Weird, fantastic, with a harsh, real fantasy that comes with murder. Here lies death, and so neatly. Each object placarded with a small white card labeled with black lettering, name, place, date, disposition of the case. Here's an odd-looking ashtray, soapstone. It's carved rather nicely with the crouching figure of a woman. Something decorative for your living room, but observe closely now the red-brown stain on the rim. Lift up the tray, hold it by the figure of the woman. Oh, yes, it's comfortable in your hand, and suddenly, this is a weapon. Ah, here we are, a little blue .22. Well, it's silent now. It was silent, too, during Vivian Davis's cocktail party in London's smart, sophisticated West End. In Vivian's quite chic apartment. It was not destined to be silent, though. Not very long. It's a nice place, Vivian's apartment, if you go for ultra-modern glass and metal combinations. Nice people, too. Well, nice looking, anyway. Young men are quite impeccable. The young ladies are lovely, lush, well aware of the well-put-together attractiveness. Oh, yes, these are the chic young people.
Larry, darling, have you been watching Vivian and Donald?
What else, sweet? They are at dagger points, aren't they?
Well, frankly, Larry, if Viv has one more martini, she'll kill Donald with a look.
An alcoholic look, at any rate. But why all the fuss and bother? If Donald wants to play, she ought to let him. I know at least 3 males who are perfectly willing to give Viv a time, really.
Mm-hmm. Including yourself, Larry, my sweet?
No, darling, I'm the 4th. But then why bother?
A trifle strange, isn't it? The ultra-sophisticated, the over-civilized, and yet, beneath the polish, the same old jealousy that you can find in savages. Oh, yes, simple jealousy. For instance, at this moment, Vivian herself is approaching the chrome and plastic bar where Donald is mixing a drink.
Donald, haven't you had enough? You're quite tight, you know.
Am I? Really?
I asked you, Donald, haven't you had enough?
I don't believe I have. Will you have one, dear?
I've had enough, let me tell you. This is my party. You might be polite enough to pay some attention to me and a little less to that strawberry blonde.
Ah, she's quite attractive in a leggy sort of way.
Oh, yes, quite elemental beneath the polished surface. An interesting situation. It continues, of course, as long as the party lasts. It continues, as a matter of fact, well past the end of the party, even to the moment when May and Larry are making their farewells. The last of the guests to go.
Oh, it was simply marvelous, Viv, darling. Just delightful.
I always adore your parties, Viv. The liquor flows like water.
Oh, thank you both for coming. My little parties wouldn't be the same without you. Isn't that so, Donald?
Huh? Yes, yes, of course. Coming, Donald Lowson?
Well, I don't exactly
know.
Larry,
please.
What? Oh, put my foot in it, haven't I? I'm sorry, old man. Au revoir, Viv. Let the martinis run again sometime soon.
Bye, darling. Ring me, won't you? Oh, soon, darling. Quite soon.
Donald's for it now. Did you see the look in her eye?
Come along, dear. Don't be catty.
Oh, I don't know.
The party's over now. Silence descends on the carpeted hallway. For a moment or two. And then, through the muffling walls...
You stupid little, silly little beast on that woman.
Oh, stop it, Viv. I'm not interested in her. I
don't you make me look like a perfect idiot.
And there's this woman. A jealous woman. Where does it go? Isn't it obvious? Of course. Somebody's bound to be hurt. Inspector Summers and Detective Pepper arrived quickly from the yard.
This seems to be the weapon, Inspector. A .22. Blue steel, mother-of-pearl grip.
A lady's weapon, wouldn't you say, Pepper?
Looks as if it wouldn't harm a fly. pretty in its way, Inspector.
Pretty and dangerous. There ought to be a law forbidding the manufacture of these toys. Every one of them is capable of death.
Funny.
What is?
The body. Out here. On the landing.
Yes. Well, we'll find the reason for that shortly. Not much blood. 22s don't make much of a hole. Stay here, Pepper. I want the pathologist to see the body before it goes to the morgue. You know the procedure. I'll be inside with the prime and only suspect.
Yes, sir. I understand.
All right. Tell me how it happened.
Don't you dare to talk to me like that.
Take hold of yourself, Miss Davis. I need the answers to a few questions. I'll answer that.
Don't you dare. That's my telephone.
Yes? No. This is Inspector Summers of Scotland Yard. I see. I'm sorry, Lady Munsey, you can't speak to your daughter just now. Yes. She'll be coming down to the yard. You can come there if you wish. Goodbye.
Now will you leave me alone? You know who my mother is.
Which do you prefer, to answer my questions here or to come down to the yard?
I refuse to answer anything.
That won't look well in the report, miss.
Oh, get out of here. Get out.
Take hold of yourself, Miss Davis.
I've told you and told you. Donald and I were arguing. I suppose I grabbed the gun from under the pillow where I keep it. He tried to take it away from me. And next I knew there was a shot and he was mumbling something about a doctor. And then he was dead. Oh, now leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Inspector Summers felt that further questioning was indicated. The location he chose was his own office at the yard.
Where did you get the gun, Miss Davis?
My husband gave it to me several years ago.
Are you married?
I was. I'm divorced.
Inspector Summers thought of many questions.
Where did you struggle over the gun?
In the bedroom.
I see. Why do you use linoleum for a floor covering in the bedroom?
Oh, because it's easy to keep clean, and because it's chic, and because... Oh, what has that to do with Donald?
I'm asking the questions, Miss Davis.
Oh, yes, there were many, many questions.
How long have you lived at that address? How long did you know Donald Martin? Have you ever bought any ammunition for that gun? What were you quarreling about?
It went on and on. And finally...
Very well, Miss Davis. We shan't hold you. But don't leave London. And your mother is waiting for you. You better go home with her. We are sealing your apartment.
An inconvenient matter, violent death from a gunshot wound. Apartments are sealed, people investigate. One's whole life is turned inside out. And then there are the experts.
The scientific facts contradict some of Miss Davis's statements, Inspector.
They do? For instance?
There's no evidence of any scorching of the clothing round the bullet hole. From that fact and the spread of the smoke stain, I deduce that the gun was held from 3 to 6 inches from Martin's chest. As the blood ran down the chest, he must have been standing at the time. It would be practically impossible for him to hold the weapon himself in that position.
Could he have clutched the barrel, say, in an attempt to take it away from Miss Davis?
In that case, his fingers would be singed, or at least blackened. They're not. I do not believe that the man was touching the weapon at all when it was fired.
An embarrassing conclusion, to say the least. There were other things.
I've checked Martin's shoes at the morgue, Inspector.
Well?
If they struggled in that bedroom, on that polished linoleum floor, his shoes would have had to scratch the floor. They're leather-soled, and they have metal taps on the tips.
Very good. Another discrepancy. Now, Pepper, I think we'd better have a bit of a talk with the neighbors. Are you certain of that, Mrs. Merritt?
I am positive. It's not the first time they yelled at each other, those two. And the walls are thin.
Do you have it down, Pepper?
Yes, sir. They had a quarrel about 2 weeks ago. He left. She leaned out of the window, only half dressed, and shouted at him, Laugh, baby. Laugh for the last time. And then she fired a gun at him.
Thank you. Now then, Mrs. Merritt, before the shot last night, did you catch any of the words they said?
His? Oh, no, sir. But, well, her bedroom is next to mine, and I heard her say as clear as day, and at the top of her lungs, "I will kill you."
Thank you, Mrs. Merritt. Anything else?
No, sir.
Very well. Let's go, Pepper. All right, Pepper. I think we have the makings of a case. Pick her up. We'll book her for willful murder.
And today, the little blue 22, which was to play such an important part in the case, can be seen among the other exhibits in the Black Museum.
In just a moment, we will continue with The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles. And now we continue with The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles.
As the inspector said, they felt they had a case. The evidence was piling up. Vivian Davis was arrested. Her defense counsel was a distinguished member of the bar, and the prosecutor assigned was no less brilliant. But some of the conversation about the case was, well, a lot less brilliant.
Why, if Larry and I had stayed, we might have seen the whole thing. And darling, those letters. Imagine leaving letters like that lying in your bureau drawer, where anyone might find them. And do you suppose the prosecution will use them for evidence? This is one trial I simply shall not miss.
Let me say here and now, if May owns a gun, I'm walking out, and at once. But Viv always was unstable, you know. That's the kind who'll pull a gun on you when you least expect it. Not for me, old man. Not for me.
I always said she was no better than you'd think. Wild parties at all hours, firing guns around, drinking. Oh, I dare say the woman wasn't happy. But then who is? Now I ask you, who is?
Poor Viv. I understand the food in prison is all starches.
Seen the headlines? This is a juicy one, what?
I'm to be a witness? You don't say. Really now? You don't say.
They tried the case in public gossip long before it came to proper trial. And when the proper trial began, the courtroom was crowded naturally with bright young women and polished young men, the familiars of the defendant. This, however, failed to ruffle the solemnity of a British court.
I shall permit no demonstrations. At the least lapse from proper decorum, I shall have the courtroom cleared.
And that settled that. The trial proceeded. Vivian Davis, in simple black, sat in the dock between the two wardresses assigned to guard her. On the witness stand, the pathologist repeated his evidence and his conclusions with the prosecution. There was no cross-examination. With Inspector Summers, it was another matter.
Inspector, you heard the prison doctor testify that when Miss Davis was admitted to the prison after her arrest, he found bruises on her arms and on one thigh.
Yes, sir.
And that such bruises might have been sustained in a struggle.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Now then, in your experience, have you found that when one person handles a gun, that person's fingerprints are usually found on the weapon?
That has been my experience.
However, if two parties struggled for possession of a certain weapon, would there be fingerprints?
In most cases, no, sir. They tend to smudge or eliminate each other's prints.
This weapon, which you've identified and which has been entered in evidence as Exhibit A, did you find this weapon at the scene of the alleged crime?
I did.
Did you examine it carefully?
I did.
Did you have it tested for fingerprints?
I did.
Did you find any?
Yes, sir.
How many sets?
Only one set of prints were on that gun.
Whose were they, Inspector? Now tell the jury, please, whose fingerprints were on that gun?
Only my own.
One more point, Inspector. You stated that you found a bullet in the wall of the bedroom. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Have you any reason to believe this bullet was fired on the night of the alleged crime?
It could have been fired at any time, I suppose.
Thank you, Inspector. That's all.
Mrs. Merritt, the eager next-door neighbor, had her proverbial day in court.
Yes, sir. Just as I told the inspector, she screamed at him, hanging out of the window only half-dressed, and then she fired a shot at him.
Counsel for the defense spent little time in the cross-examination of Mrs. Merritt.
Madam, did you actually see Miss Davis fire a pistol or gun of some sort at the deceased?
I heard the shot after she yelled at him.
You said she was only half-dressed at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Then you must have seen her.
Well, I took one look, and after that I only listened.
Why? Why, Mrs. Merritt?
When a woman is in her condition, no other woman cares to watch her.
I see. This is your opinion.
It certainly is.
Your Lordship, I respectfully request that the answers to the last two questions be stricken from the record as constituting an opinion and not evidence. Further, on the grounds that opinions are not warranted, as the witness is not qualified as an expert.
Well...
The clerk will strike the last two answers from the record, and the jury is instructed to ignore the testimony. Proceed.
No further questions. Thank you, Mrs. Merritt.
Back and forth, the battle raged, a battle for a woman's life. The case for the Crown was ably presented. The defense, by cross-examination, by objections in the record, sought to upset testimony to establish points which could be played upon later, the climax of the trial, when Vivian Davis herself took the stand in her own defense.
Now, Miss Davis, you understand the seriousness of this situation.
Of course.
I refer to the testimony that you once fired a gun at Donald Martin from your bedroom window. Is this true?
No, it's not true.
What did happen that evening?
He'd come to see me. He'd asked me for money to pay a gambling debt, and I refused. We quarreled, and he left. I was furious, and I called to him from my window. Then I went back into the room and fired one shot to make him think I'd killed myself.
What happened then?
Oh, Donald... Mr. Martin came rushing back, and we were friends again.
Miss Davis, have you ever pointed a weapon at Mr. Martin?
No, never.
Have you wanted to?
No, never.
Did you shoot him the night he died?
No!
Have you any recollection of his having spoken to you between the time he was shot and the moment he died?
I'll never forget it as long as I live.
What did he say?
He said, I wish the doctor would hurry. I want to tell him that this was an accident. It's not your fault. He said it over and over. And then he was dead.
Thank you, Davis. Your witness.
Pull yourselves together, Miss Davis.
Yes, sir.
Very well. I submit, Miss Davis, that the truth of your first public quarrel is, as it was stated by a previous witness, that you did fire out of your window at Mr. Martin.
Oh, no, never. I fired in the room. I wanted to frighten him.
Miss Davis, is this your pistol?
Yes.
Is this the weapon which killed Mr. Martin?
Yes.
And on the night this gun, your gun, killed Mr. Martin, you had a quarrel, a second quarrel.
Yes.
You were, to put it simply, jealous of his behavior with other women.
Oh, I was so jealous, I threatened to kill myself.
You threatened to kill yourself?
Yes.
Then why did you shout, I will kill you?
No, I never said that.
What did you say, Miss Davis?
I never said I'll shoot myself. The other, I never said. Why should I? I was jealous, but that was because I loved him. Oh, you've got to believe me. I loved him. I did.
There was more, much more, over and over. But they never managed to shake her on the essential points.
I never pointed a gun at Donald in my life.
And, of course...
I never said I'd kill him. I said I'd kill myself.
At long last, with Vivian Davis on the verge of collapse, the prosecutor let her go. Shortly thereafter, the defense rested. Summations were brief. For the prosecution?
This woman is guilty of the crime with which she is charged. There is no doubt in our minds, nor should there be any in yours, that she held the pistol and fired the shot.
For the defense?
Clear that no woman kills the man she loves, despite the violence of their quarrels. This was an accident. It is clear that it was an accident.
The presiding justice was clear and concise in his charge to the jury.
The gentlemen of the jury, in conclusion, let me advise you there are 3 possible verdicts you may return under the present indictment. Guilty of murder, guilty of manslaughter, or not guilty of any offense. I commend the accused to your most painstaking deliberations.
The jury filed out. They stayed out for 2 long, weary hours. There was chatter in the courtroom. There always is. But even the gossip was subdued. Everybody waited. Waited.
It seems perfectly incredible. A murder trial, and I've been in on it since the beginning. I do hope the judge wasn't as much against her as he seemed to be.
It's really too exciting for words. I've had more dinner invitations because I know Viv. Oh, well, after all, the poor girl might be hanged, you know. Oh, grisly thought.
Well, for my part, even if she gets off, there'll be one advantage. She'll never be my neighbour again, and that will be an improvement, I'd say.
And at long last, the waiting was over. The prisoner arose in the dock at the judge's request. The foreman of the jury faced the prisoner in the court. The age-old formula was intoned by the clerk.
Members of the jury, have you agreed upon a verdict?
We have.
Do you find the prisoner guilty or not guilty of murder?
Not guilty.
Do you find the prisoner guilty or not guilty of manslaughter?
Not guilty.
Yet, despite that verdict, the little blue 22 can be seen today among the exhibits in the Black Museum.
Orson Welles will be back with you in just a moment. Now here in person is Orson Welles.
Yes, they let Vivian Davis go free. In many minds, the question was, and still is, did Vivian Davis get away with murder? Frankly, I don't believe anyone gets away with murder. Murder stays with the killer, twisting mind and heart and soul, even in the unsuspected and therefore unsolved cases. Where Vivian Davis was concerned, perhaps the real crime was insecurity and the kind of violent jealousy that grows from fear. I don't know. That's for the psychologists, not for you and I to decide. Meanwhile, the little blue 22 remains in its customary place in Scotland Yard, in the Black Museum. And now, until we meet again next time, in the same place, and I tell you another story about the Black Museum, I remain, as always, Obediently yours.
The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles, is presented by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Radio Attractions. The program is written by Ara Marion, with original music composed and conducted by Sidney Torch. Produced by Harry Allen Towers.
Systems presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cope, and starring two of radio's foremost personalities, Ralph Bell and Chuck Webster, in Key Witness. This is The Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we watch an underworld syndicate and the government go in desperate search for the same man. It's the story I call Key Witness. The scene, the penthouse office of Mike Bruno, the nationally known and feared crime syndicate boss. Bruno, a tall, ruggedly built man in his 40s, paces back and forth as his head accountant, Oliver Smith, turns the pages of a ledger, reading the figures before him.
Income from Waterfront Enterprises, period ending July 31st, $42,765.50. Income from Wire Services, period ending July 31st, $71,942.20. From Nightclub Enterprises, the same period, $56,713.42. Income...
Okay. That's the income on the books of the government. Now, what are the real figures? You got them in your head?
Of course, Mr. Bruno. Income from Waterfront Enterprises, $103,652.28. From Wire Services, $156,421.10. Nightclub Enterprises, $211,410.28. Liquor distributorships was $87,642.15. Racetrack interests, $48,675.34.
All right, you got the total?
Yes, sir. $518,731.15.
I sure got a hand at you, Oliver. You and that photographic memory of yours. It's a lucky time when we got together. Be 5 years tomorrow, sir.
5 years tomorrow, huh? And in all that time, you've never forgotten a fact or a figure. Yes, Sir Oliver. The T-men can search high and low. They'll never catch me with a set of books showing the real take. Because it's all in your head. Huh, Oliver?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, come in. Ah, hello, Frank. Come on in, come on.
Boss, I got to talk to you, alone.
Oh, yeah, all right. Oliver, I'll call you when I need you.
Yes, sir. I'll be in my office.
You look worried. What's the matter? Let's have it.
I just got word from the big boy. Treasury men are going after you.
Is it winter dressing, or do they really mean it?
They really mean it. But with all the headlines in the papers, they'll have to make a cleanup. And you're it.
Can't the big boy stop?
No. This is too big even for him. And he says you're on your own.
That's nice. When's it coming?
The T-men will be here tomorrow morning to seize your books.
Don't waste any time, do they? Tomorrow morning, huh?
Bruno, what are the chances of the books standing up under a real investigation?
Maybe yes, maybe no.
The books don't satisfy them. They start questioning Oliver.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do?
I gotta think.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Bruno?
Yes, Oliver. Have a seat.
Yes, sir.
Now, look, I've just gotten word that the T-men are going to look at our books.
What?
Tomorrow morning, they're coming to get them.
But you've always assured me they'd never look at our books.
Things have changed. You read the papers. They're looking for a fall guy. Me.
The boss has a way figured out to beat the rap.
The books will stand up until they start asking you questions, Oliver.
Yes, I know.
Now, you're the one man who's got all the answers. The answers are all in your head.
Without you, the T-men wouldn't have a case against the boss.
That's right. All right, Frank, open that suitcase for Oliver.
Okay.
Why, all that money.
$500,000. And it'll all be yours if you do exactly as I say.
Mine?
Yes. I want you to write a letter saying that as treasurer of the corporations, you embezzle large amounts of dough.
What?
That's right. You're to assume all responsibility for the books.
But they'd send me to prison?
No. You're taking it on the lam. There are a couple of countries in the world where you can't be extradited for embezzlement. Denmark's one of them.
Denmark?
Yeah, that's what my attorneys tell me.
That passport you used last year is still good, Oliver.
There's a plane leaving at midnight for Europe. You just have time to write that letter and pack.
But, Mr. Bruno...
Yeah.
If I do as you ask, I'll be an admitted criminal, forced to live abroad the rest of my life.
With $500,000? Oh, what's so bad about that?
And, Oliver, you're forgetting one thing. You fill out the corporation tax returns for me. You go to prison with me.
Play it smart, Oliver. $500,000 and a life of ease in Denmark.
You haven't much choice.
No, I don't, do I? Very well, Mr. Bruno. I'll do as you say.
Nah, you're showing good sense. Okay, Oliver, write that letter assuming all responsibility for the dough I've held out in the government. When you're finished, I'll send one of the boys along with you to help you back.
Yes, Mr. Bruno. If you'll excuse me.
Sure.
Which of the boys do you want to take him to the airport?
No, nothing.
I'm not taking any chances on a slip-up. You and me will be taking Oliver to the airport.
Mr. Bruno.
Yeah?
Haven't you taken the wrong road? This isn't the way to the airport.
Relax, Oliver. We got plenty of time to make the airport.
Sure, your plane doesn't leave for another hour.
But we're going in the opposite direction of the airport, right? This way.
All right, shut up.
That $500,000. Denmark. You never meant it, did you?
You catch on fast.
Now that you have that letter I wrote you, you're going to kill me.
No one lives forever. Easy does it, Oliver.
Where are you taking me?
Please stop at the top of the hill, boss.
Right.
Mr. Bruno, you can't kill me. Not after 5 years of loyal service. Haven't I always done everything you asked without question?
Take care of him, Frank.
No, don't do...
He'll be out for at least 10 minutes. That'll give us more than enough time.
Yeah. Which part of the car?
A clump of trees up ahead, out of sight.
Good. Yeah, it's lucky traffic's light on this road.
That's why I picked it.
Okay, let's finish the job. Put him behind the wheel.
I got him. Easy. There we are.
All right, now release the brake. Start pushing. I'll steer it.
Just a few more feet to the edge.
You say it's 200 feet to the bottom?
Yeah. Nothing but rock down there.
Okay, she's starting to roll. There she goes.
Hear that?
Yeah. But we're going down to the wreck to make sure. I'm not taking any chances. Come on.
Look at that car, completely wrecked. We didn't have to bother coming down here.
Maybe not. He's still behind the wheel?
I can't tell you. No, he isn't behind the wheel.
He's not in back either.
Let's look around. He was probably thrown clear of the car.
I don't see him.
He's got to be around. Hey.
What's that you're picking up?
His wallet. Some keys.
His wallet? That wreck didn't finish him off. He must have gotten away.
A 200-foot drop. He couldn't have.
No, and where is he? I said he came out of it alive. He's on the loose.
Well, he couldn't have gotten far. Come on, let's look for him.
In the dark. We never find him. Let's get back up the road. Next tavern's half mile down the road. I've got to get to a phone. Operator, give me Waverly 6678. That's right.
Bruno, what are you doing? You going to round up some of the boys?
Yeah, that's right. Hello, Mac. The boss. Yeah. Now listen closely. I don't want any slip-ups. I'm at Nick's Tavern on Highway 37A. Yeah. I round up half a dozen of the boys in a hurry. Send a couple of them to Meadville and Lewistown, both on 37A. That's right. Have a couple of more boys drive along 37A between Meadville and Lewistown. Yeah. Now they're to pick up Oliver Smith. You heard it right the first time. There'll be a $10,000 reward to the guys who find him. Yeah. Now get the boys on it, but fast. We gotta get him, Frank. If he ever gets to the police.
Oh, the odds are all in our favor. Probably pretty badly hurt, wandering around in a daze. But for all we know, he might have crawled a few hundred yards and died in the underbrush.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping.
Oliver hasn't any money, Moxie. Come on now, don't worry, boss. He isn't going to get to the cops.
Yeah, sure. Come on, let's get back to my office. What time you got, Frank?
The time? A few minutes after 9.
They've had since midnight to find him. 9 hours. Not a trace of him.
Hey, maybe they found him. Hello? Yeah, Mike? No sign of him, huh?
Give me that phone. Mac, how many boys you got out now? 12. You can't even find one broken down accountant? Have you searched for the woods, the underbrush? Well, all right, do it again. Tell the boys the reward has been up to 25 grand. Yeah, that's right, 25 grand.
Oh, will you relax, boss? Will you just take it easy?
Take it easy, take it easy. You know what it means if Oliver spills the feds? Yeah. Oh, say. Have him come in. It's George Tonelli of the Treasury Department. How are you, Mr. Tonelli? Come on ahead.
Oh, thank you, Bruno.
This is my associate, Frank Stevens.
Hello. How do you do? Bruno, I have an order here empowering me to seize the books of all your corporations.
What for? I pay all my taxes.
The Treasury Department just wants to double check. Make sure.
Well, that's the way you want it. Okay, you can have the books. I got nothing to hide.
Good. Where's your head accountant? Oliver Smith.
Oh, he's out of town for a few days, Mr. Tonelli. Personal business of some sort. He should be back by Friday, though.
I want to talk to him. After we've gone over the books.
Oh, yes, I understand. Mm-hmm. Miss Daniels, will you see to it that Mr. Tonelli is given all the books of our various corporations? That's right. All right, Mr. Tonelli. They'll be given to you on your way out.
Oh, thanks, Bruno. Oh, by the way, I heard a police flash over my radio while I was driving here. Seems a car registered in your name was found wrecked off Highway 37A.
One of my cars?
Yes. Didn't you know about it?
No. Huh. Well, after all, I got 6 cars. One of them. Hello.
Boss, this is Frenchie.
Yeah, Frenchie. Anything new?
You still offering 25 G's for Oliver Smith?
You find him?
What about the 25 G's?
You'll get it. Do you know where Oliver is?
Yeah, I found his hideout. I'm calling from a drugstore in Meadville. Corner of Main and Vine.
Corner of Main and Vine. Sit tight, Frenchie. We'll be there in an hour.
Slow down, boss. There's Frenchie on the corner.
Yeah, I see him. Get in, Frenchie.
Sure, boss.
All right, what's the story?
Smith is here in town. He's locked up in the town jail.
What?
The cops have him?
Yes and no.
Come on, spill it.
The local jail is a dump, 4 cells. Just on a hunch, I looked in. There's 2 guys in there. One is a broken-down bum. The other, Oliver Smith, looking like a bum himself. And I done some nosing around. Smith was arrested for vagrancy.
Arrested for vagrancy? Under what name?
Haven't been able to find out.
Don't you get it, Frank? Oliver's in there under a phony name. He's laying low so that neither the feds or we can find him. After he's done 10 or 20 days of vagrancy, he'll try to disappear and act.
Yeah, that must be it. If they'd given his right name, there'd be feds all over the place.
All right, Frenchie. You say there's just Smith and some old bum in the lockup, eh?
That's right, boss.
Point the way, Frenchie. We're driving over that jail. That's it over there? That 2x4?
Yeah, that's it.
Where's the sheriff at this time?
He lives in that white frame house next to the jail. I saw him go in his house an hour ago.
Well, he's probably through for the day, and just the 2 prisoners there.
Yeah. Frank, you got a key that would open those cell doors?
Oh, sure. Those old locks aren't any trouble.
Good. Frenchie. You got a knife?
Yeah?
That's good. I want you to take care of Oliver. Right now.
Look, boss, it's a dangerous setup. What with the sheriff just a few yards away from the jail, and that bum dares a witness?
You can wrap the whole thing up in a minute flat.
No, I can't Frank do it. This is more in his
Because
line.
Smith knows Frank. He'd start yelling the moment he saw him. He doesn't know you.
Yeah, maybe not, but...
If you want that 25 grand, you'll do it. In fact, you'll do it because I'm telling you to.
Okay. Here's the key, Frenchie. You won't have any trouble with those locks.
Just give it to him. Fast and clean.
Who are you? I'm the sheriff's assistant. He told me to bring you over to the house.
The sheriff doesn't have an assistant, fellow.
Shut up, you bum. You say the sheriff? What? A knife? Yeah, a knife.
Please, you.
What? A gun?
Yeah. Don't let the costume fool you. Treasury Department. Okay, Sheriff.
A flame, huh?
Well, looks like you were right, Mr. Tonelli. So you got your killer, eh? Yes. Throw this guy into our cell, Sheriff, after you've taken that key from him. I'll be right back.
Yeah, he's been gone almost 5 minutes, boss. What could be taking him so long?
I don't know.
Look, do you think the sheriff might have picked Frenchie up?
Frenchie's net down, but should have been back by now.
Let's get out of here. What the...
Hello, Bruno.
Tonelli.
Yes, small world. Keep your hands where I can see them. That's better. Both of you. Out of the car.
Where are you taking us?
I want you to meet an old friend. Come on. Straight through that door, Bruno.
Now, look, Tonelli, I'm no two-bit hoodlum you can parade around at guns point. I want to call my attorneys.
Now, no one's going to deny you your legal rights. Here's the gunman you sent in to kill Oliver Smith. Right, Frenchie?
I don't know what you're talking about. Smith's an old friend of mine. I just dropped in to see him.
Sure. With the 6-inch knife. Take a look, Bruno. There's Smith in his cell. See him?
Yeah. I see him. And he sees me.
It's no use trying to throw a scare into him, Bruno. Smith has already made a statement. He's now in protective custody.
Mr. Tonelli figured you'd come looking for Smith.
Yes, and my hunch was right. Can we use your office, Sheriff?
Yeah, sure thing. This way.
Take a seat, Bruno. You too, Stevens. Close the door, Sheriff.
Right.
Bruno, I've got your fall guy, Oliver Smith, who's made a complete statement. On that alone, I could send you up for 20 years.
Yeah? I got pretty good attorneys?
Yes, but not good enough to overcome Smith's testimony. In addition, I could get you on an attempted murder charge. I have a hunch your friend Frenchie will sing.
Now, look, I want to call my attorney.
However, I'm willing to make a deal with you.
Deal?
Yeah. If the government has to go to trial with you, it'll cost $500,000 to convict you. And a great deal of time. However, if you pleaded guilty, saved the government time and money, I think the court would go easy on you.
How easy?
Well, you'd have to pay the tax penalties, of course, and do 10 years. 7 with good behavior.
I don't know.
If you're smart, you'll plead guilty.
You know that with Oliver Smith's statement and testimony on the stand, the government couldn't lose.
I've got to think it over.
There's no time. It's either yes or no. Now make up your mind.
Okay, I'll plead guilty. I know when the odds are against me.
Now you're being smart. I'll get one of my men in. You can make a complete statement. All right, Bruno. You've read your statement over. Sign here.
Now, look, if I sign, you guarantee the limit will be 10 years.
You have my word.
Okay.
That does it. Hey, Sheriff, you bring in Oliver Smith. I'll be taking him back to the city with me.
Sure, Mr. Smith. When did you find Smith?
The sheriff picked him up at 6 this morning, after the accident. He was wandering along Main Street.
Did he tell the sheriff who he was?
No.
Here's Smith now, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, Bruno, Smith couldn't have told the sheriff who he was, even if he wanted to.
What do you mean?
When the sheriff picked Smith up and questioned him, Smith couldn't answer.
Couldn't answer?
That's right. The sheriff called in a doctor. An examination revealed that Smith had amnesia.
Amnesia?
Yes. He got it from a severe head blow he suffered in the accident. It's a case of complete amnesia.
But if he's got amnesia, that means he doesn't remember anything of the past. He couldn't have made a statement to you or testified against me.
No, he couldn't. And without Smith's testimony, we had no case.
That build-up you gave me, it was a bluff, a lie.
Yes. But justice has been served. And that's the important thing. Isn't it, Bruno?
Some days nothing to do turns out well. How was he to know that Oliver Smith was a victim of amnesia? Some people simply won't die easily. Well, poor Mike is now doing 10 years at a federal prison. As for Oliver Smith, to date he hasn't any part of his memory back, and he never may. Which reminds me of another story. It concerns a young and enterprising undertaker who developed a unique idea of soliciting customers before they were dead. As a matter of fact, Oh, you'll have to get off here. I'm sorry. I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at the same time.
Just heard The Mysterious Traveler. Now you can enjoy other tense and exciting tales of The Mysterious Traveler in the current issue of The Mysterious Traveler magazine, now available. In our cast were Ralph Bell, Chuck Webster, Brett Morrison, and Lawson Zerbe, with Maurice Tarpon starred in the title role. Music under the direction of Emerson Buckley, composed by Richard DuPage. The Mysterious Traveler is written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Coben. Phil Taunton speaking. This program came to you from New York. This is the Mutual Broadcasting.
The Strange Dr. Weird.
Good evening. Come in, won't you? Well, what's the matter? You seem a bit nervous. Perhaps the cemetery outside this house has upset you. But there are things far worse than cemeteries. For instance, the feeling of being cut off from the world by an insanely jealous man, as in the story I want to tell you tonight. The story I call Beauty and the Beast. begins in New England, on a lonely, desolate cliff overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Near the edge of the cliff, which towers 200 feet above the rocks below, a young man stands, a mere shadow in the darkness of the night. Time and time again, he impatiently turns to look at the huge, foreboding old manor house, which is perched near the cliff's edge. Suddenly, out of the darkness, a beautiful girl appears and runs to his outstretched arms.
Oh, Kathy, darling, why are you so late?
I couldn't slip out of the house any sooner, Alan. Jason was watching my every move.
Oh, Kathy, he's twice your age.
I know.
The ugliest man I've ever known. Whatever made you marry him?
I don't know. After my father died, I was all alone. Jason kept asking me to marry him. Something in his eyes forced me to say yes. I was afraid to refuse.
Well, you're not going on living with him. I'm going to take you away.
Oh, Alan, you don't know what you're saying. I can't leave.
Why not?
If I were to run away, Jason would follow you and kill you. He'd kill you the way he killed...
The way he killed... whom?
You remember George Davis, don't you?
Why, of course, he was Jason's secretary.
Well, one evening, 2 weeks ago, Jason found me talking to George in the library. A thing he's forbidden me to do. And the next morning, Jason told me he discharged George, and that he'd already left. But then I discovered that all of George's clothes were still in his room.
His clothes were in his room?
Yes. Surely if he'd been discharged, he'd have taken them with him.
Then you think that...
I'm sure of it. He must have killed George that very night. He'll kill anyone he thinks is trying to take me away from him. Oh, darling, I couldn't stand to have anything happen to you.
Oh, darling, nothing's going to happen to me. Nor to you. I'm taking you away from here. What time can you meet me here tomorrow night?
I think I can manage to slip away around 9 o'clock.
All right, darling, 9 o'clock it is. Now you better return to the house before Jason misses you.
Jason.
Where were you, Catherine?
Oh, I was just out getting some fresh air.
You're lying. You slipped out to meet someone.
No, Jason, really. Oh, Jason! My arm! You're hurting me.
Who was it? Ellen? Was it Ellen? Tell me, or
Beg pardon, sir, but Sheriff Rogers is here to see you.
Very well, Charles. Show him in. I'll do all the talking, Catherine.
Good evening, Mr. Winthrop. Miss Winthrop. Sorry to intrude, but I must.
What can I do for you, Sheriff?
I understand you have a secretary, George Davis.
I did have. I discharged him 2 weeks ago. Why are you so interested, Sheriff?
Because his body was washed ashore this afternoon, 20 miles down the coast.
Well?
There were deep gashes on the body as though it had fallen from a great height onto the rocks in the sea. It may be suicide, and it may be murder.
You say it may be murder?
Yeah.
Surely you don't suspect I had anything to do with it, do you?
I don't know. There have been some mighty strange things happening around here. 4 months ago, Sam Arnold, your chauffeur, was murdered, and now...
Sam Arnold? Murdered?
You seem surprised, Miss Winthrop. Don't you know he was murdered?
I'm afraid she doesn't, Sheriff. She's been ill for quite some time, so I kept the news from her.
Oh, then she doesn't know that Arnold was stabbed to death less than 100 yards from this house.
Oh, no. I thought he'd been discharged. Who did it?
Well, we haven't found Sam's murder yet, Miss Winthrop. Now we have another mystery on our hands, the death of George Davis. Mr. Winthrop, I want you and your wife to be at the coroner's inquest in the village day after tomorrow. Quite a few questions we want to ask you about the deaths of both Sam Arnold and George Davis. There's a lot more going on around here than meets the eye.
Dr. Weird's story will continue in a little while. And now
Young man, before you go on, remember where you are. You know what happens on this program to people who aren't careful what they say.
Oh, I'll be careful. I'm always careful. Careful with my facts whenever I talk about Adam hats. You see, Adam hats are so downright good-looking, I have to be careful about my enthusiasm. And the makers of Adam hats are careful, too. Careful to see that every Adam is well made. Look at any Adam, and you can see for yourself the quality workmanship that goes into the designing of Adam's smart styling, perfect fit, and correct details. Care, too, is taken in the choice of material and color. That's why only genuine all-fur felt in the newest shades is used in Adam hats. So if you're a careful dresser and a careful spender, choose an Adam. Still priced at $3.45 to $10. Still, America's outstanding hat value. Now, back to Dr. Weir.
And now I'll finish my story, Beauty and the Beast. 24 hours have passed, each one of which has been an eternity to Kathy. Try as she would, she couldn't forget the deaths of Sam Arnold and George Davis. One thing seemed perfectly clear to her. Jason had murdered the two men in a jealous rage. He would stop at nothing in his madness. Her mind in a turmoil, Kathy waited tensely for 9 o'clock and her meeting with Alan.
Catherine, why do you keep looking at the clock every other minute?
I'm not aware that I am.
Is it because you have some secret rendezvous with someone?
No, I haven't.
You're lying. Whom are you going to meet? Tell me.
Oh, Jason, my arm.
Tell me.
No one.
You're lying. I ought to kill you.
Yes, kill me. Get rid of me, so I can't testify tomorrow at the coroner's inquest.
What are you talking about?
You want to kill me because you're afraid of what I might tell them. I know you killed Sam Arnold and George Davis.
Is that what you intend to tell them tomorrow?
Yes, you're nothing but a murderer. Jason, don't look at me that way, Jason. I'm not going to let you kill me. Stay away from me, Jason. I won't let you kill me.
Put down that poker, Catherine. Put it down, I said.
No, if you come any closer, Jason, I'll use it. Jason, don't, or I'll use it. I warned you, Jason. I warned you.
Kathy, you mustn't cry. You struck Jason in self-defense.
Oh, what are we going to do?
We're going through with the plans I've made. I have 2 tickets to the plane for Mexico, and we're going tonight.
Catherine! Jason!
Oh, there you are.
You're not dead. I didn't kill you.
No, the blow you struck me only... Ellen, what are you doing here? I've come to take Kathy away, Jason. Ellen, you don't know what you're saying. I'm warning you, Jason. Don't try to stop me. You don't understand, Ellen. She's a murderess. She killed 2 men.
What are you saying? I never killed anyone.
Ellen, I'm telling you the truth. She killed Sam Arnold and George Davis.
You're lying. I didn't.
How could she possibly kill 2 men and not know it? Because she's insane.
Insane?
A homicidal maniac. There are times when she loses control of her mind, and when she does, she kills. And then she comes to and has no memory of it, I suppose. Yes, that's it exactly. Just a minute before she pushed George Davis off this very cliff we're standing on, I heard her talking to him. Her voice was low, excited, the voice of a homicidal maniac. Before I could reach them, she pushed him off this cliff. And then she fainted. And when she regained consciousness, she had no memory of what had happened.
No, it isn't true, Alan. He's trying to blame me for murders he's committed.
Yes, I know, dear. This story's very clever, Jason. It accounts rather nicely for the deaths of those 2 men, wouldn't it? I'm telling you the truth, do you hear? And I'm going to tell it to the coroner's jury tomorrow. I've protected her as long as I can. You're not going to tell the coroner's jury anything tomorrow. Alan, she's insane.
No.
She has to be exposed for both our sakes. Right. Alan, let go of me. You don't deserve to live trying to make Kathy pay for your crimes. No, Alan. No. You must listen to me. Alan, don't. There's no other way out, Kathy. He was insane. Utterly insane, trying to make it appear that you murdered Sam Arnold and George Davis when he did it himself. What?
Alan, what is it? What's wrong?
I just remembered something. When Sam Arnold was murdered 4 months ago, Jason and I were on a hunting trip in Canada. Why, we heard the news together over Jason's portable radio.
You mean Jason didn't kill Sam Arnold?
I know he couldn't have.
But if Jason didn't murder you...
Kathy.
Alan, why are you looking at me like that? You don't think that I did it, do you?
Kathy, if Jason didn't do it, then what he said about you might have been true.
You believe that it is true, don't you? I can see it in your eyes. You do believe I murdered Sam Arnold and George Davis, don't you?
Kathy, the voice, it's different.
You do believe I murdered them, don't you?
Your voice is just the way Jason said it was before you pushed George Davis off the cliff. It's true. You did kill him, didn't you?
Yes, I did. At times like this, I can remember. I killed Sam Arnold with a knife. And I pushed George Davis over the cliff. Would you like to know how I did it, Alan?
Kathy, your voice, your eyes. Kathy, what are you up to?
I pushed him off the cliff like this, Alan, like this.
Kathy, look out!
Alan, I'm slipping
out! She's gone. She was trying to kill me. And she fell over herself. She was the murderer. And nobody dreamed of suspecting her.
Because she was so beautiful.
Alan was right. Nobody dreamed of suspecting Kathy because she was so beautiful. But her husband, who was ugly, well, he was suspected right away. You see how handy a pretty face can be? Sometimes. But there's an old saying, beauty is only skin deep. So be careful about walking on cliff tops with lovely young women. One of them might be another Kathy. Oh, you have to go now. Well, perhaps you'll drop in on me again soon. Just look for the house on the other side of the cemetery. The house of Dr. Weird.